flex. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt. Cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me. How'd I turn pain into energy? Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first.
Look at my shine with the glow. This is my time with it though. This is my time to be way at the top. Me and my guys gon' pay out the block. I don't look like boss. Time's right, and I know the sea is walking in a limelight. Promise you gon' wanna watch like a sci-fi. My guys are high risers, high tide. Might drown if you come to my side. I pledge allegiance for lifetime. My squad connected like Wi-Fi. We grind and you see the highlights. This my life. It ain't a game now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy.
Won't stop going till a player on top know it. Rooftop, penthouse suite. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fight through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not afraid, we are opponents. Yeah, I'm coming for mine. Yeah, I'm making a play, the game on the line. Yeah, I've been on the grind. Yeah, I jump in the spot, I made it my time. Yeah, look in the sky. Yeah, the stars align, no shade to shine. Can't stop it already. Emotional work and devotion, we put in this time. Look, you won't stop.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Good evening and welcome to the Snapdragon Pro Series for Free Fire. And we're back in the studio once more.
Yeah.
My name is Husky, and alongside me is Victor. And tonight is the first day that we kick off the Snapdragon Pro Series for Free Fire. And let me tell you, we have a lot of interesting games coming up tonight.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a really jam-packed and action-filled week here today. I mean, it's a week for you practically. You're going to be here the whole week long just covering all this action, isn't it?
What are you talking about for all of us, right? Whether you're on the benches, you're in the studio, whether you're the players, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of interesting matches in store. There's a lot of familiar names. Yesterday we went to the rehearsal and we saw a lot of experienced players coming back. This time, as always, they are here for the throne.
Indeed, they are. And there's going to be a lot to play for in this specific tournament here because the prize pool is pretty huge here, I got to say. Let's have a look at it right now. So we're going to be running through from the top to bottom there. First place is going to be going home with 3,000 Singapore dollars. Second place, 2,000 Singapore dollars. Third place, 1,000. That's a lot of money on the table, isn't it, for our Free Fire teams?
Absolutely, and if you go down the list, every single team will get a piece of the pie. The only question is how big of a piece will they take back by the end of the tournament. But the good news is there are many days for the teams to adapt, learn, and conquer. So we have a long journey ahead of us. We have a long journey for the teams themselves, and that means we have a lot of interesting games to witness. Let's take a look at the point system. The system that all competitive Free Fire will follow is this: 12 points for Booyah, 9 points for second place, 8 points for third, the list goes on. But if the team finishes in 11th and 12th place, they get no points, and each kill equals to 1 point.
Yeah, that means that teams, if you don't want to necessarily play for position, you can play for aggression here and still earn a lot of points in the process, especially if you're going to be conniving enough and aggressive enough to find those kills when it's possible. So this is going to be all to play for here in this Free Fire tournament, and we're going to be having a look at the maps here in a second here. So have a look at the schedule here to see exactly how the teams are going to be matched up here. So today we're going to be running through two different maps here, Bermuda as well as Kalahari, and we're going to have 3 groups here, A, B, and C. And as you can see from your screens right now, this is how they're going to be matched up. So the first couple of maps is going to be played for for groups A and B, and subsequently we'll be moving on to groups B and C. And then the last 2 matches will be for groups A and C. So that's going to mix up the teams a little bit and allow for a little bit of variation, I feel, throughout the day.
Yeah, and that means each team will get to play 4 rounds this evening. There's plenty of rounds, right? If each Booyah means 12 points, that's a total of 48 points if my math is correct. Assuming that the same team gets Booyah for all maps. But let's take a look at the groupings for the SPS Free Fire. Group A, we have AV Ligers, Orange Esports, GIX Project, Warsick Philippines, AKO Ultraman, and EVA Continue.
Yeah, these are some really good names here. I mean, AV Ligers and Warsick PH are definitely familiar for those of you who have been following the Free Fire community here, and they are being in the same group here. You know that sparks are definitely going to be flying once they actually get down on the map, isn't it?
Yeah, and I definitely am keeping my eyes out on teams like AV Liger and AKO Ultraman because they have some very veteran names. But this will be Group B. We start off with Team Valhalla, Who's Next, Kalahari Philippines, Noxscape Revolt, Anxiety, GM Remy, and last but not least, Hard to Get.
Yeah, this is also very stacked group as well. Hard to Get has been making some waves in some of the previous games here in this Snapdragon Pro Series. Who's Next Kalahari as well, a very familiar name for me as well, and definitely looking forward to see what they'll be bringing to the table once we actually get in the game. Now let's have a look at Group C here. Let's have a look at the Orange Esports here. We're going to be featuring one of the teams here. We got Jabat, Goku, Decos, Ross Ox, Parent, and Torm making up the lineup for Orange Esports.
And a lot of these guys have played in the official Free Fire circuit, right? We talk about the MCP Major, the Free Fire Challenges Malaysia. These guys are not strangers, right? Jabat, he has been there, Goku, Decos, all of these players come from different teams, but now to see them under one banner brings a very interesting dynamic. And I really want to keep my eyes out on both Decos and Rosso because these two are known as the more aggressive, more selfless players that don't care about their safety, but they always get things done.
Yeah, so let's have a look as well as this other team here. You mentioned their name as well, Akko Ultraman, comprised of Lemon IGL, The Axel, X-Roy, and Too Fast.
Man, the Axel is definitely the man of the team. I think he is the pivot, he is the leverage, he is the center point, he is the anchor, and he is the sniper. So AKO Ultraman, if they want to reach Ultraman level of gameplay, the Axel will have to be at its best every single round.
Oh yeah, he's got to keep that energy going here. Let's have a look at the game real soon here. We're going to be going into our first map. That is Bermuda. The teams are already jumping in, and look at that. The path, the flight path splits the map right in the middle here. So you know the teams are going to be very much having the space now to spread themselves out and actually find some good landing spots.
And I particularly want to see how these teams conduct their litmus test, right? Are we going to hot drop? Are we going to go aggressive? Or will we play it safe? And so far, as what we can see on the screen, that most of these teams decide that, no, we're going to go to our default landing spot. No overlapping happening. And the most interesting part is that no one lands in Pochino, except for AKO Ultraman, who are very much spread out around that area. But aside from that, all these teams have their own default spot to start things off.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing to look at. I mean, I can also see a member of AKO actually landing somewhere close to where his shoot hard to get is going to be at. But it looks like hard to get might be aiming to go towards Keratin instead. So that's very interesting because they're spreading themselves out a little bit here. But already two teams landing onto each other here. EBC 4-Bits getting the first blood of the game right now. They're locked in battle at the moment. 4-Bits right now trying to get himself a nice little launch to get himself into the complex closer to his teammates here, so that he can pretty much get away with that scot-free.
Yeah, on the other side, we actually saw Orange Esports kind of engaging in a bit of a combat, because right before we tune out from the map, we actually saw Orange Esports taking a detour, and they landed straight in the GM's territory, GM Remy's territory. But it seems like they're winning out, though. GM so far losing out both Ramiao and Fura. This is going to hurt. And I want to kind of point out Ramiao. He did play in SAS, Supreme Assault Forces, from the Philippines previously, and he was one of the rising superstars, a young prodigy. But now you have him eliminated this early on. I think it's going to hurt GM Remy's chances for the rest of the round.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting to see as well that already a couple of members are on the ground, whereas like a couple of members are still parachuting in. So I guess it must have jumped off at slightly different intervals, and I guess like maybe one member wanted to come out to scout a little bit ahead, or maybe they were going for a more spread out strategy so that they can maximize the amount of farm they can get collecting loot here. But nevertheless, for Orange Esports though, they lost Ross Ox in that engagement early on and still trying to find another engagement here, but so far Torm isn't able to get the jump onto WNX quite yet. Goku is going to be watching on the outside. He sees Hawkeye on the top there. Torm sends a grenade up there, does a bit of damage, but not enough to get the knockdown so far. Goku still holding back, still keeping himself very much stealthily in position here. He doesn't want to let them know where he is quite yet until he is ready to strike, and Let's Go is getting a little bit close to that cone of fire.
And this is going to be great for Goku, because he's just going to turn the corner, Vector Akimbo in hand. Not able to take down Let's Go as of now. Orange is kind of spread out really wide, far and wide, but Torm actually gets the knock onto Hawkeye and eliminates the sniper from the top of the building, giving Orange Esports so much more room to work with. Now they've taken away the vantage point that WNX have garnered for themselves. This is going to send Let's Go on a run and send Orange Esports on a chase. Let's Go trying to get some cover behind those palm trees, but Orange Esports, they do have the numbers, and right now the burden is on Let's Go. Can he get out of this with that grenade tossed out, forcing him into the open? Orange Esports looking for the cleanup.
Yeah, the problem for Goku right now is the dual Chris. The Chris Vector isn't quite good at range here. He's going to have to pick up another gun. He does get a foul, it looks like. The thing is, he needs to get some healing up because it's already halfway through his health. Let's Go in the meantime, able to get his health up to full. He tries to make a break for it. Goku trying to go for the shoots, but he only nails the glue wall. Doesn't quite get the knockdown, and Let's Go runs away to the hills and to safety.
A great escape. Mission impossible for Let's Go. He needed to regroup with his team, and so far he's doing a good job. But on the other side, we have Warsick Philippines kind of caught in a predicament themselves as well. And we just hear all the gunshots from around the corner. I mean, Warsick themselves actually are not caught in any predicament. It's just gunshots from afar. So they have to kind of outrun the blue zone, but it is just circle number 1. Nothing too much to worry about. In fact, while we looked away, Rosso ended up losing his life. Now Orange Esports down to just 2 members.
Yeah, Torm and Goku left running here for Orange Esports. This battle doesn't look to be too good, so I think they might be thinking of an exfiltration strategy right about now. Problem is, they don't really quite have a lot of space and maneuver at the moment because there's a body of water over there, but then WNX, look at where Yadope is. He has the high ground here. He can spot everyone. He spots out Torm, starts getting some shot, but Torm managed to jump away to safety just in the nick of time. Hopefully that wasn't too much damage, but Yadope probably feeling a little bit miffed that he missed that opportunity.
Yeah, for Torm basically dodging a bullet, you know, taking that
Torm.
parachute, but he fell to death. Takes the launch pad, ends up going down. Didn't really stick the landing, but his buddy is there. Goku, you know, it gives him a bit of assistance, brings him back up. Orange Esports make that long rotation to Catalystewa. No more fights for them. They've taken enough damage. They've gotten away with 3 points, and now it's all about slowing down the pace and letting the rest of the team do the work for them.
Yeah, so things are going to be definitely much more slowed down now for Orange Esports. That little encounter has not done them any favors so far, so they're looking to try to run this for the long haul. Even with the amount of kills they've gotten so far, they've only briefly been able to hold the kill lead here. But now the hunter has now become the hunted. It's now AKO. We are seeing the AKO squad. Sorry, that's AV Ligers.
That's AV Ligers.
Yeah, AV Ligers right now making their way to where WNX is, and it looks like they might be thinking of trying to hold position here for now. This is actually a really good spot because it does give them a bit of cover and a little bit of a view into what's going on in the observatory. I'm not sure if they actually spotted WNX inside the complex, but the trouble is that if AV Ligers decide to go into the observatory and start farming, they're going to be sorely disappointed because that place is pretty much looted to the bone.
And on the other hand, we look at EVA Continue, right? EVC, McGrory playing on on these high ground. Not sure if he saw that one member from GM. I assume not. But so far, EVC getting out to a very slow slow and steady start. The circle very fair to a lot of teams. In fact, centered around Catalysta, while that's where Orange Esports are now currently situated. Every other team have to flood in from multiple angles. And you can see that this outskirt is being primarily controlled by the likes of GIX and EVC. And as we say that, both of these teams will clash, and Rose will be the first one to get knocked out. 4bit is doing a really good job as Toxic now tries to join his team alongside Daemoon. They want to quickly dispatch the members of GIX individually, and Toxic will get work done. Meng is nowhere to be found as he's removed from the round.
Yeah, wow, that's a little bit unfortunate for him, getting surrounded 3v1, but EVC really played that well. They had someone to spot from above, and they fed all the information there, so EVC managed to get through the entire battle, not even getting a single one of their own members knocked down. Bummer in the meantime, and a little bit of a bummer right now because he has to run through the blue zone here in order to try to escape. So far, EVC is not giving chase at the moment, so he should be good for now. Thing is, he's going to have to get back into the safe zone at some point there, but then for now, being that he's completely solo, that severely reduced the chances of GIX right now to get some good points in this round.
Yeah, one of my favorite teams to watch out for, EVC, getting off to a great start. Let's turn our attention onto this bird's eye view. H2G kind of driving straight into the territory of Orange Esports, and in fact, hard to get. They do have the man advantage, so if they decide to push Orange right now, I don't think Orange Esports can get out of this. Keep your eyes out on Batman and Shira. I think these two members would be the main trigger for H2G to go for that push. They are the one who decides whether they want to make that move or whether they'll play it safe. But on the other hand, WNX, they certainly are making that move.
Yep, they're just jumping straight in onto AV Ligers right now. Trying to get a high ground here is Let's Go. Look at that, Pixel walking right onto the rooftop here. That slope doesn't look like it has much room, but somehow Let's Go is making it work for himself. So right now, they're trying to spot a good time right now to launch an attack onto AV Ligers. But I think Anubis also knows that WNX is around the area, so they're also scrambling to try to find good positions here in order to take this fight. No one has fired the first shot quite yet, though, so AV Liger is still within their rights to try to hold their own, but Anubis spots Let's Go, goes for the shot. That's going to force out a glue wall here, and now the engagement has begun.
Yeah, AV Ligers, they have the number advantage. I love Anubis' awareness, and Let's Go has nowhere to really maneuver. He's forced off the roof, and this gives AV Liger even more room to work with.
Oh, you're dope.
And this blue zone is closing in. You're dope. Like, now it's his time to make a decision. Does he want to stay up top and provide fire? It seems like that's the decision. It is just the second stage of the blue zone, so he doesn't have to be too worried, but this sniper rifle pierces through glue wall, so Anubis has to be extremely careful, and Yadope makes every shot count. Through the glue wall, he finds Anubis, and that will equalize the playing field.
Yeah, but he needs the flankers to move up quickly now. Basic and Let's Go trying to move on to AV Ligers here, trying to flank them up as they are inside the safe zone here, trying to move along with the wave of the blue zone. That's a good grenade there, but Let's Go. Is that going to be enough for the knockdown? Not quite. The blue wall blocks him out, but he gets the kill on the Psycho just in the nick of time. But now needs to wrap himself up because he's taking a lot of damage here from the blue zone. Yeah, dope. He managed to get a knockdown to Psycho as well, so it looks like they have successfully taken this fight, but now they have to heal themselves up and quickly run to safety.
Yeah, Cheers could not even participate in that fight, all thanks to Yadope standing his ground, finding that perfect angle to not only kick off the entire encounter, but also to cripple the members of AV Ligers one after the other. And I think WNX are happy with the result. They didn't take any casualties. They get to reap the rewards. And you can see they just took the launch pad and they are out of observatory.
Yeah, Chairs in the meantime still trying to stay on around the outside. He knows moving into the safe zone right now will mean certain death. He's going to have to wait it out until WNX decides to move on. This next circle, again, landing dead center in the safe zone here, right around Katus Listiwa. So Yadope, he spots another team here. This Valhalla currently hold up onto this outpost here, but it looks like it might be an outpost of death because they're just laying the fire onto them, forcing them out. Melt tries to get a jump for it. Yadope isn't able to get a shot, but Melo is already taking a lot of damage. Dookie forces Yadope now to put out his shield and his glue wall as well as he heals up, but WNX, they aren't able to try to knock over this outpost quite yet. They're going to have to try to take this more methodically here because Dookie still has his sights trained onto them.
Yeah. And if you are a true warrior, if you want to hit to Valhalla, you got to take every single fight head on. And unfortunately for Valhalla, they only have 2 more members left. Both of them trapped on this tower, surrounded by members of WNX, like people stranded on an island, surrounded by a school of sharks. And Basic, he's not gonna show any mercy. And in fact, Cheers somehow XX revenge from long range downs the Basics, but not finding a finisher as the rest of WNX pour into the tower. Meanwhile, we actually get GM Remy getting knocked out by EVC. AV Ligers, though, finally getting eliminated by WNX. Cheers was not able to get any single point with his dying breath. Basic would be picked back up, and WNX continues this rampage.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a weird situation there because Arion, he had his back turned the whole time, but didn't seem to take much damage there even when WNX was just already shooting on him. Now he's already run onto the ground here. WNX, they're deciding to move along with the wave of the blue zone, closing in on this next circle here, but that's going to land them right within the arms of H2G, who are just waiting down by the bridge here. So WNX going to have to be a little bit careful here. They already fired a few shots there, so maybe Hard to Get has already heard that, and they're already hunkered in, anticipating a fight that is about to begin.
This definitely favors WNX a bit more, having that high ground. The circle basically going way towards the center, as EVC will be the first team to kind of make it into that safe zone. And on the way, they take out the last member of Anxiety. So that's AXN kind of eliminated 7 teams left, as a Warsick also makes contact with WNX. EXO off-screen does take down Jim Quest. But WNX so far are holding down pretty well, but they gotta make a decision as soon as possible. Meanwhile, AKO Ultraman finds himself taking on RV head on. They already lost Roy, but Lemon doesn't care for anything because he has EXO with him, and EXO leads the charge. Santua is gonna be the first one to get knocked out, and RV kind of thrown into a shamble, not knowing what to do.
Yeah, this is going to be a massive standoff here. That's a good grenade, though, by Too Fast, taking down Jimmy Quez. To RV, it's down to 2 members still left standing. AKO, they're going to use this opportunity now to swarm the warehouse. Senju puts out a glue wall there, does block off the platform a little bit, but Lemon IGL is still on the hunt. He's still trying to find Senju right around the corner there, but the problem is there's not a lot of visibility here, and they're also getting a little bit attack more behind there because EBC has just joined in the fray as well. They need to finish up this fight as quickly as they can. Swarsick's trying to absolute best here, but Lemon IGL still able to give them the slip, puts the glue wall around himself. Now he's a little bit trapped though. So how is he going to get out of this? Oh, the grenade comes in, flashes him completely. He has no vision whatsoever, and Warsick finishes up Lemon IGL.
All AKO wanted was RV, and they attracted Warsick, they attracted EVC. Warsick comes in, gets the third party, collects the reward, but now they've really angered EVC because EVC wants to be party number 4. Meanwhile, on the other end, Orange Esports did make contact, but let's put our attention back onto Warsick because EVC is giving them a run for the money. In fact, RV somehow is still in the game. Slumber surviving in the warehouse along all of these glue walls that these teams have set up for themselves, as EVC continues to pummel the members of the members of other teams. But look at this, a very congested battlefield in this very small warehouse. Tacular against McGrory blowing down all those glue walls to keep himself safe. But Joey has to kind of weave around the corner out of the blue zone to find an angle. Tacular is in the best possible position, but Yadope from afar snipes McGrory.
Oh no, and unfortunately the damage is too much. Big Rory couldn't get himself back to his team in time, but I'm slightly impressed that EVC managed to take all of those kills without really exposing too much danger to themselves. They literally were just sniping them from a distance here, watching all the commotion form. Save this in the way, Yadope caught around the outside. WNX still not able to get themselves out. They finally get a knockdown to too slow and take him out completely there with the Mac 10. And now it's going to be a bit of a standoff here because EVC, they have the sights already trained towards that warehouse. Yadope trying to break down some of the blue walls, but the thing is, the blue zone is already closing in onto this circle now. That's going to force WNX to be on the move, and the problem is EVC is already very well hunkered down in this side of the woods here, so they're going to have to shoot while moving at the same time, and they have to be very, very careful about that approach. Good shot there to get a knockdown to Daymoon. They still have to watch out for 4-bits, but look at that! Hard to get coming into the fray as well. It's a surprise there for Yadope. He gets knocked down as well. Oh, what a tragedy. What a disaster.
WNX have 15 kills. That's more than a booyah that you can get, that you can obtain for yourself. So they are in a very good position. Even if they go down right now, they already have secured more than half the lobby worth of points in terms of kills. Let's go in basics, holding down the fort. They are the last bastion of the team. Insane turns the corner, loses to basic. Let's go is already down, and basic finally tickles down. It's all down to 4-bits. 1 against 2. It's the members of Hard to Get. 4-bit getting swarmed. Batman is the first in. 4-bit wins that one. Puts down the time turner. Bomb in and out of the blue zone against Shira. He needs to reload. Shira can't do the job. 4-bit still has a glue wall to work with. And Shira still finishes him off. It came really close. But at the end of the day, it's Hard to Get ace to G with the first booyah of the evening.
Wow, that was an incredible sequence towards the end there. For a moment there, I was wondering, are we still watching a Battle Royale game or are we watching a death match? Because, wow, literally kills being brought all around here. Hard to Get, of course, came out on top, but really they were the last kind of team to get into the fray there, because I felt most of the fight was kind of between WNX and Warsick, and then EVC joined the fray. It literally was a free-for-all melee in that final circle.
Yeah, and this is what's fun about Free Fire. I love it when teams get aggressive. I love it when we get to the later stages of the game, because not only we get to witness chaos, we get to witness all of these individual outplays, right? The teams really get to demonstrate what they're made of individually, and Hard to Get, you know, just calm, cool, collected. You know, it's just game number 1. And I would say, despite the fact that they got that booyah, despite the fact that they won that first round, deep down they know it's not a glorious round. Sure, it was a very hard-fought victory, but remember, before WNX got completely eliminated, they had 16 kills in the back.
Yeah,
Top that up, being in 3rd place, that's 24 points to start off the evening.
Yeah, and the fact that Hard to Get was like the last team to get into the fray, by that point, there's not many other members to kill by that point, so I still wonder if the amount of points they managed to get, even with the booyah, is necessarily going to be enough to overcome that. So yeah, that's still very, very good result all around though, and definitely a very, very hectic first round to begin this entire series here. But nevertheless, let's give a shout out to our sponsors here, starting off with Snapdragon Elite Gaming. When winning matters, and winning definitely mattered a lot here for Hard to Get, because that's still a lot of good opportunities for them in the future.
Absolutely, and other than that, we also have to thank our other partner, which is Monster Energy, for allowing these teams to unleash the beast within them. Check them out at www.monsterenergy.com/gaming, because that's where you will find all the info. And this is a perfect start to an already exciting evening. And if you guys want to be a part of the community and join the conversation, this is how you can do it. Discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series. We have a lot of info. We have a lot of conversations going on, not just about Free Fire, but about other mobile titles. If you want to find out what it is, join Discord right now.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So now that Bermuda is done, it looks like we're going to be moving on to our next map, which is going to be on Kalahari. And I think the fight is going to be a lot more different this time around, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that is my favorite map. I always have to reiterate on Free Fire broadcast that Kalahari is my personal favorite map, simply because of the challenges that it brings, right? It really challenges, it really tests the fundamentals of teams, how they strategize, how they move around the map, how they take advantage of high ground. That Kalahari pushes all of these to the absolute limit, and teams who are not well versed in it get We're back for more Free Fire action at the Snapdragon Pro Series Free Fire. I'm Husky, alongside me is Victor Cax once more as we just witnessed a mind-blowing game number 1 on Bermuda where hard to get emerged victorious, getting the booyah, but it was actually WNX who got the glory after all. But we are getting ready for round number 2 in this bout between Group A and Group B, and we're heading over to my favorite map, Kalahari.
Oh yeah, and it was quite interesting to see that a lot of teams decided to play things a little bit, I would guess, relatively safe when you think about it, because in this first map, basically, they decided to go a little bit more spread out, anticipating that most of the fighting will only occur towards the late game stage. That's when everyone is all crowded together. So it seems like they really, literally try to maximize the amount of kill points you could get potentially from this first round, just to kind of start things out. So it'd be interesting to see how they're going to go ahead and play this out as we go to this next map, because I believe Kalahari is going to be a slightly different, if not very different, battleground compared to Bermuda.
And let's take a look at the standings by the end of round 1. Who's that? Kalahari, PH, or WNX? They have 25 points, right? So they're placed third, 8 points from placement, but they have 17 kills. That's basically a third of the entire lobby that they have eliminated, followed by EVC with 19 points, hard to get with 17 in third place, Warsick Philippines in 4th place with 12 points, Orange Esports in 5th place with 10 points, and AQ Ultraman in 6th place with 5 points.
Yeah, and the rest of the standings here being held up by AKO Ultraman with only 5 points in total. No Escape Revolt with 5 points as well. Anxiety XZ, GM Remy and Team Valhalla, they got knocked out quite early on, and most unfortunately for GIX Project and AV Ligers, being knocked out in 11th and 12th place respectively means that they earned no placement points, but at least they have maybe a kill point each.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like the silver lining. You know, at least we start off the evening with no one getting a big donut, but nonetheless, it's not. We are starting to see kind of a very vague hierarchy, right? Which team is willing to take those risks, but it's just round number 1, right? Who's to say that WNX is not going to bomb out in the next few rounds, or we see other teams pop off? This is why I love Free Fire, right? It always comes down to the marathon. It's not a sprint. You know, you got a couple more games to go for, but moving into map number 2, I think that is where I am most excited about. Again, aside from the points that I made before we went into the break, is also how the teams adapt. I think that's the most important thing about Free Fire.
And that's the thing, like especially for EVC as well as WNX, they have already set themselves up in a very good position just because of this, how well this first round has turned out for them. So not to say they can coast for the rest of it there, but a lot of like their strategies can now be a lot more focused on trying to maintain that top spot rather than trying to climb, which is what a lot of the other teams are going to be forced to do in these next coming maps. So yeah, for them, at least for now, you know, they know that, you know, we're already here, so let's just try to keep our let's just try to maintain our performance here and just keep ourselves right at the top.
Yeah, and this is what we will be looking for in teams who are at the top, right? But for teams who kind of started off on a slower note, you know, AV Ligers, AQ Ultraman. In fact, from 6th place onwards, I expect them to, you know, put on a couple more points on the table. I think, especially for a team like AQ Ultraman, where you have so many veteran players, it is not going to be adaptation is not going to be a stranger to them, right? Just need to give these guys some time. They are late bloomers, so perhaps Kalahari is where they truly warm up and start showing us what they are made of. But aside from that, I think for WNX, the way that they got to that end game, the way that they got, you know, that total of 25 points is actually super impressive, because they didn't even start the fight, right? It was all because of Orange Esports, and that from that point onwards, they were fighting their way, running from the circle, and also taking out other teams along the way. And somehow they found themselves in that position where they had to take over Warsick Philippines, where they had to take over RV, where they had to fight EVC, and still make it into the last top 3 teams.
And that's the thing, it's literally a show of like initiative on their part, right? Because they heard the shots popping off from Orange Esports' side, and they realized that, oh, this might be an opportunity for us to third parties around. Like the thing they didn't really anticipate, I guess, was that other teams were also swarming the pot at the same time. So in a sense, it was there's a little bit of luck involved for sure, but the fact that WNX was able to take charge of the situation and actually rack up those amount of kills, that's just impressive on its own.
Yeah, and no, we give a lot of praise to WNX because they were the one who came out the gates gun blazing, but we can't forget about the team who actually got the booyah. Hard to get. Kind of a very impressive round, right? Sure, they didn't rack up as much kills, they weren't as aggressive, but they were able to play a very consistent game, a very stable game. We have an interview with the winners of round 1, Hard to get.
Hard to get.
Hello,
Shira.
Hard to get.
Hello.
Hello.
All right.
Hello.
So Shira, my questions to you is that, you guys has not been fighting at all throughout the games, but suddenly, you guys appear and manage to secure a booyah. So, how does that happen?
Yeah. Maybe we're just lucky in position. That's why we get the booyah.
I see.
Because we only the position. Because we get the last zone. We are in the last zone.
I see.
All right.
So my next question will be, for Bermuda, for Kalahari, will this happen again? Will Hard to get can find a good position to get another booyah?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Alright, so secara bahasa
We
Melayu
will
je
get
tadi Ikut tu menanyakan kepada Shira kan tadi, macam mana dapat booyah untuk game pertama kan. So apa yang Shira katakan tadi adalah di mana dia luck dari segi kedudukan, position dia dan memberikan dia booyah. Dan soalan yang kedua tadi, ikut tanya dia,
Boleh dapat booyah?
boleh dapat booyah lagi tak kan. So jawapan je yang diberikan, dia pun berharap benda yang sama. So saya rasa semua pasukan pun akan mengharapkan benda yang sama. So ada apa-apa lagi soalan
Okay,
ke?
so Shira, my last question to you. Since this is a second map for you guys, is there any secret weapon or secret strategy that you guys going to show to us?
Yeah. Nah, just wait for another round. You can see more about our gameplay, our secret gameplay.
I see.
Alright. So untuk soalan yang ketiga, Ikuto menanyakan adakah apa strategi yang akan dibawakan untuk game ketiga nanti, adakah strategi yang baru untuk ditunjukkan untuk game kedua nanti. So Shira cakap
There will be
special
special
ada special strategi tu. Strategi yang sangat special, so korang kena tunggu.
Alright. Okay, Shira, thank you for the interview. We wish you all the best for Hard to Get. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hard to get, but easy to talk to, easy to converse. Shira, we've seen this guy around for I believe a very long time. This guy is a long time veteran, is an elite. Call him whatever you will. I think he played with Divinity at one point. But as you heard, right, they felt like in game 1 they got lucky with positioning, and you did point out that it could be a factor for teams to find success. That's how they ended in the position where they got the booyah, but also got double digits in terms of kills.
Yeah, it's not just the luck itself, it's what you do with it, right? So Hard to Get, they realize, with the fighting already happening all over there, it's going to be a bit late for them to try to go for the kill points now. So they realize that, okay, maybe our best bet is just let them fight it out and we'll just deal with the survivors, and then hopefully we get the highest possible placement point. They just probably didn't expect they would be getting the booyah, but that just goes to show like the variety and kind of like approaches teams can take in this competition. Either you can be a little bit more aggressive, just going around trying to find those kill points, or you can be a little bit more savvy, a little bit more hard to get in a sense, just staying out of trouble for the most part, and then finally coming in when it's needed. Here is the stats coming in from that first game there. So 1,394 points of damage there, 5 total kills, surviving for 16 minutes and 50 seconds. So that's going to be the benchmark, I guess, for a lot of teams to look forward to as we go along.
I honestly thought they got double-digit kills, but in fact it's half of that. They got 5 kills, so 17 points for round number 1. Perhaps that's what positioning gets you, right? And one of the kind of special thing about Free Fire is trying to balance out the aggression and playing safe, right? You can't play hide and seek for the entire game because that only nails you maximum 12 points, which can easily be overtaken. So I believe playing smart is kind of the term for it, right? Which is why if you look at the Sun Tzu's Art of War, I believe there was a line that goes, in Free Fire, you gotta play smart I just made that up. But
I was thinking, which chapter Sun Tzu is that from?
chapter, I don't know, chapter like FF01, something like that. Well, in game 2, and that's why we head to Kalahari. And I want to see where these teams, go towards. And so far, we see Anxiety dropping at Refinery. My personal, my preference when it comes to Kalahari is that Refinery is the most important structure in the entire map, up to the point where the safe zone moves away from it. But until then, I think taking control of Refinery gives you so much access because of the leverage, of the vantage point that it provides.
It's quite interesting as well that Anxiety is going a little bit more spread out in their player placements here, because you can see Kanoho being on the northern side, Barba is down way south, he's in a completely different grid there. They're up alongside where AKO is, so there could be potential for them to encounter each other as they go along. But speaking of AKO, the AV Ligers are right now having shares exploring around the outside here. He might just run into hard to get here while they're still continuing to farm, and it looks like AV Ligers might be thinking about going for a full-on assault onto the council hall here. P Panda is already linking up with shares here, and maybe they're already hearing the footsteps here. Batman still sneaking around here. He's going to come to the door. Oh, shares spots him. He's going to bring his gun out. He tries to get the shot. He does get the knockdown of the Batman. Wow. Aries comes in, but then too late to save Batman because Batman has been taken out completely. Now shares running for his life. Unfortunately, gets knocked down, and AV Ligers looks like they're going to try to finish the kill here. But the rest of AKO, they are moving in here to try to get as many kills as they can onto hard to get. Aries trying to go for the jump, doesn't quite get a kill. Psycho going to get knocked down now completely, leaving Shira the only person left standing apparently right now. Hard to get, but they still manage to keep control over the situation and still get the kill completely onto AKO Psycho.
It's not how you start, Victor. It's how you finish. And unfortunately for AV Ligers, just walks into the building, tries to get away with murder, but gets punished instantly. And just quick, H2G just quick on the response. In fact, one of the teams have already been knocked out, and I believe is Warsick Philippines in the hands of Orange Esports. And AV Ligers, despite all of that chaos, still survives with 2 members. So all these considered, it's actually not too bad for them, but they probably learned a lesson to not disrupt while council meeting is ongoing. H2G, they definitely did not appreciate that.
I still felt there's a bit of a net loss there for AV Ligers, because out of all of that, they only managed to get just that one kill, which was onto Batman. So I felt that them trying to move in there after Shares got knocked down was a bit of a tactical error there. I mean, I guess in the moment there, they thought they could try to get the jump at the hard to get, but the problem was that again, hard to get, true to their name, was really hard to fight against, and unfortunately couldn't quite sustain themselves through that fight. Now, in the meantime, though, who's next? Spotting someone down by the docks here. They're already sending some shots there. Sandua getting deleted from the map right now from a shot from GIM. So it looks like Basic is going to be moving out of the way while GM continues to bring the assault onto RV. So right now, it's just really going to be between these two now. No third party is going to be coming in to disrupt this fight. Senju is going to get saved here by Jimmy Quest, and they're going to need that because he is, otherwise it will be a 3 versus 4 right now. Senju, didn't quite get the revive onto him, so it's now down to only 2 members here from RV. It's like a grenade being sent down there. It's going to give a big chill there to Jimmy Quest, forcing him to get out. Fury already on the top of the bow of the ship here, getting the shot onto Slumber. That's going to be a complete knockdown and kill there. Oh, that's so unfortunate there for RV. Completely eliminated, but the fight is not over. Jim is going to get fought here by WNX, who's moved onto the wrecked ship, and they're looking to try to get some extra kill points in this fight.
And GM, they did such a good job in eliminating, in eliminating RV, but let's see if they can do the same to WNX. This is a completely different breed. This was the team that went on an absolute killing spree in map number 1. But GM have gotten full control of the ship. You see Let's Go, and Let's Go is probably the ones who's going to make first contact, but Unknown and Retools, all of them are hiding behind this fortified defense built out of glue wall. Hawkeye playing underneath the ship as WNX takes a slower approach. They don't want to rush it too much, and Let's Go, in fact, even takes 4 damage as he disembarks from the ship. GM so far so good. They do receive some fire. Retools need to relocate himself, and now they end up in the bar of the ship. It's Unknown. He's going to push out into Hawkeye. But so far, no caddy just yet unknown.
Oh.
Back turn. Hawkeye punishes him for it. V2
Yo.
shows himself at the wrong time. And WNX smell blood. They give themselves the green light as this ship is now under siege. And unfortunately for GM, it was not meant to be. WNX takes all of them out and they lose none.
Oh man, that's just so heartbreaking as well, because up until that point, GM actually had good control over the fight. It's just that knockdown from the doorway there. That's why doorways are such a very important place to watch your positioning in, because if you expose yourself too much there at that entry point, it just leaves you so exposed to fire. I was gonna say that I was quite impressed by Let's Go's kind of like creative maneuvering around that ship up until the point he actually fell off. So
It happens.
it happens, you know. But you know, kudos for him to trying though. That was a very creative way of finding the jump onto them, because from the outside of the ship, literally you're completely protected. They can't really see you that well, and you're still feeding information. So Let's Go just literally. I mean, in the previous game as well, we saw some creative like roof climbing that he did early on. So just demonstrating that, you know, finding these kind of like weird quirks on these kind of maps can definitely give your team a severe advantage if you know how to make use of them. But any case now, we're still going to be watching Anxiety still hold up in a refinery. The circle, of course, lands it right on top of refinery, so they don't really have to move in this position. This is going to allow them to continue to dig in here and try to find really good defensive positions as soon as teams are going to be swarming into this area. But it looks like a red zone, a danger zone has already formed up here, and that's going to engulf, I think that's AKO Ultraman, who are right now caught in the middle of that. Their sister team, AV Ligers, is right around the northern side of that danger zone as well. WNX just cleaning up the rest of this ship here, finding whatever loot that GM didn't manage to get from that engagement just now. But with themselves still also being inside the safe zone here in this next circle, they pretty much have no incentive actually to move in this position, because I gotta say it's a really good place to kind of hold up in, actually.
You know what was my main takeaway from the entire series of event between WNX and GM? Is that Let's Go would definitely not be a pirate. He was not a pirate in his previous life, because the way he boarded the ship was very unorthodox, but also ineffective. But then again, if you fall off a ship in real life, you fall into the ocean, right? Not onto concrete ground. So that's one of the core difference. Anyway, EVC, we talked about this team, you know, from the get-go. At least for me, they are always in my, you know, in my scope, right? In my under the microscope, because I think that this team is really made up of, you know, ex-SAF members, very battle-hardened elites. They've been with SAF, I think, for more than a year, and right now under this new organization, EVA Continue, I wonder if they can show the same amount of composure that they did with SAF, because back in the days, these guys are known for control, and I think that is the main phrase to describe them. They are a very controlled team, they are very disciplined, no flashy moves, but if you really want to bring the heat to them, they will gladly retaliate. But unfortunately from game one at least, we have not seen that side of them.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, looking at their weapons as well, they do have an M60 in hand, a Barrett sniper rifle, I believe, that's on McRory. Sorry, Daemon is the one with the M60, and I think might be 4-bits that has the Barrett in hand. So they actually have some really good weaponry to try to fight at a range here. So I guess they're kind of banking on that while they keep an eye on Orange Esports here, who had unfortunately lost Goku in a previous engagement here. They did manage to get 4 kills though, so that's not too bad of a trade for 1 life. But Dekos is going to be wrapping around here. They know that a team is probably holed up inside the refinery, but they haven't quite found a good approach yet. So they're just going to be repositioning around to try to see if they can get the jump onto onto Anxiety, who currently are still very much holed up inside the refining area. EVC in the meantime, they're still right around the outside. Valhalla is actually around the northern part, I think, that's of a refinery. And it seems like this is going to become a very crowded battlefield very, very quickly. So Anxiety better have themselves completely set up here. Look at that. Look at how high up Chessman is going. He's going to have a full view of this entire surrounding here. And he's anytime any team's going to be coming by, he's probably going to have to be the first one to spot them out and feed that information for his team. And look at that. Hard to get as well, getting into the fray here. We can see them just around the eastern side, EVC on the northern side, and oh yeah, okay, so Valhalla is on the southern side, actually, of the refinery. Looks like EVC just got spotted by Toby, so already shots are being fired in that direction. Hard to get is also caught in that little bit of a crossfire here because AKO, I think that might be AKO Ultraman, has already spotted them as well while they're making the approach to the refinery, so they're already coming under fire from that point. Now, let's see how Anxiety is going to try to play this out because they were here from the start of this game, and the circle so far been favorable to them. Even this next circle is only going to be splitting the refinery in half, so most of Anxiety can pretty much stay in their positions here and start to gatekeep some of these teams that are trying to run into the complex. Torm finds a bit of cover from under the bridge. He's getting very dangerously close here, so Anxiety definitely keeping an eye out, making sure that Orange Esports wouldn't get a jump onto them, but they have to also watch out for Jabat, who's deciding to hang back here to provide some support from a distance. But in the meantime, WNX on the move as well. They're going to be moving into where AKO Ultraman is. And looks like a battle might just be forming in front here as they try to find a shot.
Yeah, I believe there was an initial knock on the side of WNX, but it was on base 6. They were able to get it back up. AKO Ultraman probably going to get rushed soon as EXO once more putting his sniping skills to good use, but unfortunately he was not able to slow down this charge from the side of WNX. In fact, Basic has already turned the corner as Too Fast going to drop down the glue wall, keep himself safe for now, but that corner is not as safe as AKO Ultraman think it is, because they do have Basic with their shotgun in hand. Let's Go actually shows himself in the open, but actually he gets a grenade detonated on top of him. Roy also needing a bit of room to recover that health. EXO forced back slowly but surely, as WNX doing an incredibly good job of taking space for themselves, and now they are at the doorstep of AKO, and unfortunately for EXO, he will have to take this fight against Let's Go and Basic as they turn the corner. EXO trapped in an absolute dead zone with nowhere to go, and they just take him out too fast. We'll get an exchange, but WNX still stands. Lemon shows up, gets a bit of retribution, but your Dope and Hawkeye is there. Unfortunately, they have to face the wrath of EXO. They have to face the wrath of Too Fast, and is now down to 1 versus 1. Can Roy do this? Hawkeye keeps himself safe with the glue wall as Roy drops the time turner to provide himself a bit of barrier, but WNX have found enough time to go for the finisher and also go for the revive. So Roy needs to make a decision, and he needs to make it fast, and he makes the right one. Hawkeye goes down, AKO stays in the game.
Oh my goodness, but AKO has taken a lot of damage as a result, though. It have to use up so many glue walls there. Now Roy is starting to clear things out. Lemon IGL is already getting himself back up to speed here, getting himself healed up. EVC now moving in onto the refinery here, and it looks like this next circle still continues to favor Anxiety a little bit, but now Hard to Get is also finding themselves in a favorable position as well on the eastern side. EVC, unfortunately, is a little bit caught around the outside here, so they're going to have to fight their way through. McRory sees Chessman being up on the top of the tower there, so he's thinking, trying to find an angle there in order to try to knock him down, while Toby tries to fight them in front here, keeping EVC completely suppressed as they try to make their way up the hill.
You gotta get rid of Toby. Toby is completely stopping EVC from marching onto this area, marching up the hill, and it's all just this one member, this pesky guy called Toby is keeping Anxiety not only in the fight, but he's also taking pot shots at Hard to Get. So this one anchor is basically preventing any sort of engage.
Wow!
As Kanoho lands an alley-oop from far, a 3-pointer in fact, and in the blink of an eye, EVC gets absolutely disintegrated. And the EVC is no more. Anxiety stays in on the back of Kanoho's incredible grenade launcher shot.
Wow, that's going to be 9 total kills there for Anxiety, so that's a massive, massive win right now. So they probably used up all the advantage you could get so far. Kanoho trying to find another shot to Jabat as well, who is caught right down by the cliffs here. Not a good position for him to be in, though. In the meantime, Hard to Get still hold up inside their complex, but I think Kanoho might have a little shot there. Getting some shots down to Shira, and does not seem to be enough for the knockdown quite yet, but as you can see, Anxiety is still attempting here to try to extend their advantage some more. More shots coming true. I think Ares has already got it knocked down. Insane taking some damage as well from a distance. Konoho now, his job pretty much done. It's going to be falling back for now. But Anxiety right now are literally on top of the world.
Yeah, but they have to descend pretty soon because the blue zone decides that enough. Well, they're not going to stay on top for a long time. That means they have to go into literally shock-infested water where Valhalla is around. You have Orange Esports, you have H2G, where Anxiety has been having a lot of fun taking pot shots at, but now they have to face H2G like a man, head on. But before they do that, they gotta dwindle down the numbers on the side of Hashira, and they take out Shira from the side of H2G, and they take out Shira to start things off as Anxiety slowly makes the descent onto that ground level, and Jabat sees Chessman. Well, basically just runs into the members of Orange Esports, but that is the only way the Anxiety can get anything done, and unfortunately the only way is a way straight out of the lobby, and Orange Esports pick up 2 free kills.
Yeah, that's going to be really good for them now, but Orange Esports unfortunately going to find themselves a little bit outnumbered as Valhalla coming on the other side. They have 4-man stacked there, so these 4 squads continuing to try to crowd themselves towards the circle using the glue walls here are Orange Esports, but that's a good grenade launch there to take down Dekos temporarily. Now his teammate Jabat is still up and running there, but Valhalla now focusing on H2G, who managed to get a shot onto Dookie now, so it looks like H2G's patience is now finally paying off because they have the best position here to try to defend as the team's starting to crowd in around this next circle here. Oh boy, this is going to be a very tense situation right now because at the moment, HG, they lost Batman, they've lost Shira so far, so there's going to be a 2 versus 3 here versus 1 in the form of Jabat, but I think Jabat has just got taken down, so now it's just these 2 squads left. Who's going to be able to get a booyah now? It's down to these 2.
Is it going to be H2G again? They've gotten it in the first game, and now this is going to be a bit harder as they are outnumbered. Valhalla looking for their very first booyah of this evening. Insane makes contact, but again, those glue walls building a maze for the members of H2G to stay behind. Insane gets 1 down, Insane gets 2 of them, and Insane once more saves the round. H2G with the 2nd consecutive booyah of the night.
Wow, that is insane there from Insane of Hard to Get. The 1887 finding its mark again and again, and yet the booyah goes to Hard to Get in this round here. And I gotta say, that's an amazing, amazing performance here, despite the fact that they held out until the last possible second. Have a look at the reactions there, man. Look at that. Can we sense elation, celebration already when they realized what they had just done?
How do you take down Hard to Get? The answer is you gotta play better. You gotta outsmart them when it comes down to the 1 versus 1, because if there's anything that we've taken away from this first 2 games, is that the members of H2G live up to their name. They're really, really hard to get. Game 1, clutch. Game 2, clutch. And out of 2 rounds, they've already gotten 2 booyahs. They have 2 more games left to play, and they will be playing it, I believe, in the next 2 rounds. Well, actually, after a break, right? Because Hard to Get is in that, I believe, in that in that Group A. But regardless of if they will continue playing or they will take a break, they've already made an impact for the start of SPS.
Yeah, and I think we will definitely want to watch out how the points are going to line up here, especially for EVC, who kind of stayed themselves out of the way. I think they may have been able to get quite a bit out of this. Now, give a shout out to our sponsors right here, Snapdragon Elite Gaming. When winning matters here, and the Snapdragon Pro Series wouldn't be possible without their support here. We'd also like to give a shout out to Monster Energy, Unleashing the Beast. You can go ahead and check themselves out at their website at www.monsterenergy.com/gaming. And last but not least, if you want to be part of the conversation here in this Snapdragon Pro Series, join our Discord. It's at discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series. You can join the conversation there, start discussing about the amazing matches that we have here and as well in the future. But go ahead and let us know your thoughts inside that server.
Yeah, I definitely have to re-emphasize again how crazy it is to kick off this evening, watching a team previously made out of members from Divinity Esports from the Philippines now playing under Hard to Get, still showing the same amount of performance. And in fact, I think this is one of the more impressive matches that we've seen across 2022 and 2023, simply because when they were back on Divinity, we would not expect anything like this, right? The amount of clutches that they show, the amount of discipline that the members of H2G have demonstrated. But this is a step up, and I cannot wait to see how H2G will continue that journey in the SPS Free Fire. But we're gonna go take a short break, and we will come back for more Free Fire action.
And Monster Energy.
We're back for more Snapdragon Pro Series Free Fire action. My name is Husky. Alongside me is Victor Cax, and we're getting ready for the second set of groups. Today we have Group B taking on Group C in the same map rotation, starting off with Bermuda and then going to Kalahari afterwards. But what we've taken away was that Hard to Get got off to a hot start, taking 2 consecutive booyahs.
Yeah, indeed, and I think that's definitely a good strategy on their end. You know, try to maximize the amount of placement points you can get instead of trying to get into the thick and thin of the fights, where it can either go really well for you, like how WNX in the first game, or it could go really, really bad. You know, so just by taking a more safer approach, I think Hard to Get is trying to play the long game here, trying to maximize the amount of save points they can get, and hopefully be able to maintain that climb and maintain a decent enough position by the end of today. But what I really want to see is that this next set of teams are going to be coming in here, and as well as the points that have been allocated for that, that have been given out for that last round there, because I bet it's going to be a bit of a change up. And as you can see, and Hard to Get a match to get themselves shot all the way up to the top of the board right now. But look at that anxiety from getting those 10 kills total from that last round, managed to get himself in second place as well. So that definitely had been a really good round for them, I have to say.
Yeah, and for our viewers out there, just in case you're confused, what we're looking at right now is just the points that the teams got from the previous round. So it's not the total points, but nonetheless, Hard to Get, with the 19 points, is definitely going to put themselves at the top of the overall leaderboard, because their competition, who was WNX, it only got 9 points, right? In 6th place, EVC also not doing too hot. In 7, GM Remy, AB Ligers, and the rest of them getting only single-digit points. Warsick Philippines and No Escape Revolt unfortunately got taken out really early into the round, and they leave with nothing. But the good news is, aside from anxiety, Valhalla and Orange Esports, even AQ Ultraman to a certain extent, was able to put some numbers on the board, considering the fact that game number 1 was kind of an abysmal run for them.
Yeah, especially if you weren't in the top 2 or top 3 in the previous round, you weren't getting a lot of points. So this time around, it's a little bit more spread out. You can definitely see that a lot more teams were able to find their footing and definitely find some extra kills there to try to bump up their stats here. But in any case, though, I would be very curious to see how the next group of teams are going to affect the dynamics of this battle. This kind of like this match that's going to be happening throughout the day here, because we're going to be seeing another 6 new teams going to be coming into the fray here, and I think that's going to maybe change up a little bit of the pacing for some of the teams, or perhaps maybe even bring in a different variety of strategies here. But nevertheless, let's have a look at who's next. Kalahari PH, they had the best stats of the last game there, putting 3,223 points of damage, 6 kills in total. So that's, I think, a little bit more compared to the team in the last round there. So I think it's a little bit more more indicative of like a bit more aggression on their part.
Yeah, this is just the featured team, right? We know that H2G won the second round as well, but we already saw them being featured. So WNX, kind of a team to watch out for. I came in with the impression that this team is going to be the dark horse, right? The team that is in the shadows, but it seems like they came out swinging, and even though game number 2 wasn't really the game for them, they still ended up in second place. Only 2 points behind Hard to Get, was able to amass a whopping 24 points from placement alone, despite not having enough kills. And this is where we see the kind of polarizing, the stats for some teams, right? Hard to Get, massive placement points, but for WNX, sure, they're not the survivors, but they're definitely the hunters. They have 23 kills, drastically overtaking any other team in terms of takedowns. We have Eva Continue in 3rd place with 25 points, Orange Esports with 23, Anxiety following closely with 21, Team Valhalla getting 16 points, AKO Ultraman with 15, Warsick Philippines with 12, and GM Remy with 7. And so far, a lot of teams have 0 points, but those teams are in Group C. And let's take a look at the refresh your mind for Group B, as we are getting into Group B versus Group C. Once more, Group B is made out of Valhalla, Who's Next Kalahari Philippines, No Escape Revolt, Anxiety, GM Remy, and Hard to Get.
Yeah, so it's going to be this same set of teams there, but this time they're going to be faced off against 6 different teams here. That's going to be in Group C: Legion Alpha, Ono Romeo, ORV Tyrants, Black Angels, Maharlika, K9 Esports, and Divine. That's going to be Group C for you guys. And any kind of teams here that kind of stand out for you?
K9. Right off the bat, I would say K9 Esports is the team that to watch for. I think ORV also has a couple of moments. At least that's what we saw from the rehearsal yesterday, right? That these teams got to scream against each other. But if it translates into any real life result, any real time result, I think ORV and Ono also will be a big factor in influencing whether the teams from Group B can still put out the same results. Let's take a look at Divine. We have Newbie, Miro, Ajimbo, XMRD, ENT, Shurace, and Xen.
Yep, these guys looking very fierce in their photos indeed here. But Ajimbo looking very bright and cuddly there, especially with that smile.
Oh,
so.
I just realized it's not XMRD. It's Mr. D. How could I forget? I am so sorry. Mr. D, please do not call me out on social media. One of the biggest Free Fire streamers that we have in Malaysia. Good to see him again, right? Because previously they did compete under one team. I think Mr. D also has some competitive experience in the official Free Fire League, Free Fire Challenges Malaysia. Despite the result not being the best, I think he is a great leader. Not only a great content creator, but a great leader. And I am very excited to see how Divine can put out a result against Group B.
Yeah, hopefully that leadership skills is going to be good enough here for Divine. Let's have a look at K9 Esports. They comprise of Marky, Normain, Blank, Woosie, Pain, and Superman. Oh, could they be Batman versus Superman? Oh, actually,
it is.
It is. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Right, it is Batman against Superman, the DC classic. I know there was a movie made about them, which I can say that I have not watched.
Well,
you gotta. So here's the thing: I am not a superhero buff. I watch it for the sake of entertainment. Well, let's take a look at Hard to Get again, right? We talked about Superman. Let's take a look at where Batman is at. Is at Hard to Get. 2 consecutive booyahs. Let's see if they can get the remaining 2 of this evening. Batman accompanied by Jay-Z, Ares, Insane, and Shira.
Yeah, and obviously they're prioritizing a lot more in those placement points, and look at where that's got them so far. They've already put themselves on top of the leaderboard, and at this point now, if they can continue this strategy here, if it continues to work out for them, I have to say, then they pretty much stand a really good chance of staying in that top 3. But nevertheless, for all of you at home who want to join in the conversation, you can go ahead and share your thoughts on the social medias using the hashtag Snapdragon Pro Series. Let us know your thoughts, and you may even stand a chance to be featured on stream right over here. And speaking of which, another thing that you could usually use your thought is the predictions about this next match here. Which team do you think is going to be able to get it? Is it going to be Hard to Get yet again with the Booyah, or do you think another team might be the one to get it? Let us know inside the Twitch chat right here and right now, and let's see if that prediction does come true.
Super excited to see Divine taking on the world, right? There's a lot of sub-clans, a lot of sub-teams from AKO. AB Ligers is one of it, Divine is one of it. In fact, I look at the members of Divine, right? It's actually, they've been around for a long time, but sometimes, they add a couple of letters in front and behind their IGN, and it looks slightly a bit different, but it's actually Mr. D, it's Shura, oh my goodness, all these names. Memories are flooding back because I followed them for so long, and now to see them, take on all these other teams, from not just from Malaysia, but also from the Philippines. I'm excited to see their growth, and into Bermuda we go. Group B against Group C. It's Hard to Get. It'll be on our screen right now. It seems like they are going to land at the southern point of Peak. But from what we know from Hard to Get, they are in no rush. GM is in a rush though. They've already made contact. Raymond did take out one of the members from ORV.
Yeah, already fights starting on their side there. First blood being taken there onto ORV. Are there going to be more to come in there? GM Remy continuing to, I think they continue to fight. No, it looks like they already pulled back a little bit now. But they're landing right on that island over there. So there's a bit of a blue zone. It's also forming between the island as well as Clam Village. So that's going to be a bit of a obstacle, I think, for some of these teams trying to get through, and more or less for ORV as well, who has just lost one of their own. And GM are going to continue to try to play gatekeeper here, as they seem to have isolated Jampong completely from the rest of his team, and they're moving in to swarm for the kill. Remiel trying to find a good opening here, trying to get onto the high ground actually to see if they can spot out Jampong. But it seems like they're not quite not quite able to spot him at all. In fact, they're just going to be running around on this top floor here to see if they can catch some extra loot. Now, ORV is still not really pulling back in the moment, not least because Jampong is actually left out on the lurch. But Apno is still continuing to hold back here and trying to see if he can find a way to either sneak past wherever GM Remy is, or perhaps try to come into Jampong's aid. But they also might be looking for the opportunity to bring some revenge here, because after having Hades Step already taken out, that's already reduced their chances in this round here. So it might be just a little bit good if they can also reduce the chances of GM Remy getting to that final circle. But that still remains to be seen. Führer right now getting onto the jetty. Ruz still trying to hide around there. I think he might have spotted Führer right from the edge of the wall there. So he's just waiting for him to get closer, because he's only got a MAC-10 there as well as a thermal rifle. So he doesn't want to quite use the rifle yet. He's just waiting to see if Führer's going to get close enough. But it looks like Führer's going to be holding back. In the meantime, though, they managed to find Jampong. They're trying to bring some shots onto him. He managed to get a glue wall out to try to keep himself safe, while GM are continuing to try to suppress him. Aguila sets up a glue wall of his own. So right now, it looks like they're just trying to set up an approach here so that they can continue to farm the rest of this island here while keeping ORV under siege.
Yeah, there's GM have no intention of continuing this fight, right? You don't really start with much resources, especially if the area that you're going for is Rimnam Village. So they make the right decision to back off. They do have some suppressing fire from Re2 just to make sure, just kind of sell it to ORV that GM is still around. But in fact, they actually were able to loot the house on top of the hill. Now they have extra resources, and knowing GM, they probably are going to go back for round number 2. Now, Ray Meow actually does not have any health pack to work with, so GM have to always be aware of that, right? This is, sure, he is a superstar, but even gods do bleed, and unfortunately, he is one hit away from getting incapacitated. So the ORV has a pretty good shot at, overpowering GM.
See, but the problem is, the more they're bogged down by this fight, that means just less time for them to go out and actually farm for this necessary kind of equipment. The health packs, grenades, even bandages, they might be even useful at this point. So, I mean, ORV right now just holding themselves out at this jetty area here, and in a sense kind of gatekeeping GM here, because now the blue zone is starting to crowd around them. So sooner or later GM is going to have to make their move, and it's going to put them into the line of sight of ORV. So let's see what Aguila is going to try to do here. He is keeping his eye on Ruz. Führer still stuck outside the jetty. He's not really daring to put himself up on top there, but that the zone is starting to crawl in here. So time is of the essence now, as GM is going to have to find a way to get themselves on the move here. Apnoy continuing to scan around here to ensure that no members of GM are going to be able to get past without him knowing about it, and that pretty much keeps them in place. Now that's the danger zone already moving in. Apnoy is already caught up in it, so is Führer, and Aguila pretty much soon as well. Russ is still keeping his eyes peeled there to make sure that other members of GM will not be able to get past. Apnoy literally taking one for the team there, just soaking up all of that early game damage there coming from the blue zone. Now Aguila is going to get swarmed now. Remiel and Retrus, they're going to be trying to make a move around. They managed to spot out Russ, going for the flanking maneuver, forcing out a glue wall there, where Russ attempting to try to run away there. He's going to get knocked out very close there. Finally gets knocked down, and unfortunately Russ will be taken out of this map completely. GM taking no prisoners whatsoever.
Yeah.
Führer now able to get up on top. He has to set up a couple of glue walls there in order to stay out of trouble. Remiel finally gets a health pack, but only just able to use it in time there to get his health up to speed there. But they're all going to be caught up inside this blue zone here, and ORV decided to cut their losses. Jampong was literally the only one left standing there for his team. Russ and Apnoy both have bit the dust, so that leaves him the only solo for ORV.
Oh, ORV had the right idea to gatekeep GM, but unfortunately GM just made the better call. Went for the wraparound, caught Russ completely off guard. And that means that ORV basically have no more presence in this round. Sure, they haven't been knocked out just yet, but they will not be posing any threat anytime soon. In fact, on the other end, Shira, Omar Tagat gets caught out in the open. And he's going to be the first one to go hard to get once more. Getting a pretty rough start, but they've been in this spot before. Unfortunately, this time it will be slightly harder to outmaneuver BA considering the circumstances are to get. They don't have much cover to work with. Batman forced around downhill, and to rendezvous is going to be a big challenge. So far, BA have decided to not really make any drastic relocations. The circle is still in the favor of both BA and H2G. You have Divine on the other side, just north of Clock Tower. We'll see if H2G can make it out of this.
Oh, but it's still getting suppressed though, and Insane is just losing his glue walls one after another as K9 Superman are now joining into the fray, just blasting down those walls, making sure there's no cover left for Hard to Get. So it's going to be a bit hard from this point on now for Hard to Get to try to stay out of trouble, because literally trouble is coming to their doorstep. Blank holding a katana is going to try to flank around there, but he got to be careful because Ono is actually very close by this area as well. No doubt has been hearing the shots being fired and are maybe in a position here to try to third party this fight. Now Insane's going to try to return some fire there. He is covered behind a wall now. Gets a good shot there onto Blank and perhaps onto Pain as well. And the thing is that's going to kind of stall the progress there. No Main gets knocked down by Ares, who managed to get a good shot there from the second floor. He's going to try to go for a little bit more now, but doesn't seem to be able to get any more besides that one knockdown.
What a pixel shot from Ares. Unfortunately, no elimination. So if you are Team Superman, you gotta be really happy with that. We're just waiting for the clash to happen, but it seems like it will be a stalemate, at least on that end of the map. On the other side, GM once more is gonna make contact. This time with Valhalla. Then Aguila is able to find a decent spot to work with. They actually, on Valhalla's side, they have buildings to work with. Mello is on the second floor, but so far not really finding the line of sight to deal with the members of GM. Meanwhile, on the other side, Fura is driving around in that motorbike, trying to snuff out the members of Valhalla. In fact, he's getting so much ground for his team. That's going to give the green light for the rest of GM. They're going to make their way into this compound if they want to. Melo actually has a nade cooked up, but with this blue zone closing in, the nade actually connects with the Ritu, but doesn't have enough damage, so the second one gets tossed out, but this one detonates slightly too early. Mid-air, Ritu is going to be able to accept the third one. Once more, does not go down, and that means that Melo has ran out of utilities, and GM are ready to go in for the push.
Oh, and again, the push can come at the worst time right now because they're being swarmed by the blue zone here. Melo is forced to come under fire here. He's going to try to run out the window there to try to hopefully escape the grass. No, GM, but Ritus gets one knockdown. They get a second one on. Oh, okay, not quite a second one to Dookie, but they're definitely giving chase there, not letting him go without a fight. And GM will continue to swarm Valhalla's position here. Almost trying to use a scythe there to try to take down Rehan, but it was in the end the MP40 that Bruce B's downfall, and Valhalla gets completely taken out. A massive win here for GM. And I just got to note as well, a slightly bad news for you DC fans, Batman has just killed Superman.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Again, I'm not a superhero, fanatic, right? But the impression that I get is that Batman is stronger than Superman. Because I feel like,
really?
Yeah, I mean, if you obtain the kryptonite, you just win, right? I mean, Batman doesn't have any inherent weaknesses, but Superman does. It's right. It's like Superman having an allergy, right? Imagine like if you fight someone really buff, but that guy has an allergy to fish, and you just throw fish at him, and he just gets rashes, and he just becomes vulnerable.
Hey,
That's what Superman feels.
I mean, it might be onto something. I did watch the film, and Batman did literally use a kryptonite grenade to temporarily stop Superman in his tracks. So you might be onto something there.
I think I'm onto something. Thank you. Thank you for the affirmation. I feel like a lot of fans that watch the movie probably would disagree, but we're talking about. I'm a logical person. Hawkeye just got bombed and was able to be picked back up by Basic as WNX was able to hold their fort at least for now, but Yadobe, he is very far out in the open, so gotta rendezvous with his team. The blue wall doesn't make it any easier. So far, so good for WNX. They decide to disengage completely from this fight, but Divine not really, caught in the same situation. They have the comforts of a building to work with. WNX are completely disengaging, so Divine can sit still, and then just hold off and see what's gonna happen next.
Yeah, Mr. T still trying to hold himself out there. WNX on the move right now. They've already got themselves into the circle quite early on, so they're probably seeking to try to have a good position and try to set up an ambush because RV has just entered the scene as well, and it just to the southern side, or rather the southeastern side of where WNX's position is, and also trying to find some last-minute loot at the same time. Jimmy Quest does have a bat, he does have a shotgun as well, but this area is a little bit wide open, not quite suitable for those kind of weapons in particular. But nevertheless, RV continue to try to farm whatever they can from this one little outpost outside here. In the meantime, though, oh no, looks like they managed to find Anxiety, or rather Anxiety managed to find Hard to Get because it just knocked down H2G Ares, and it looks like they're going to be continuing this fight on right now.
Barbar going in for the push. He does have Kanoho with him, and this is the guy who is so good with the grenade. And he works magic once more. Ares has stood no chance, but he wants a second, and he finds Insane. AXT, they become the kryptonite to H2G, and unfortunately, the last man standing is Batman, killer of Superman, conqueror of Gotham. But in this case, I think Anxiety is on him, completely surrounded by 3 different teams. Batman is in a very, very bad spot.
Yeah, very bad spot indeed. Does Kanoho actually play baseball? Because that's a real golden arm throw that he has over there. Nevertheless, the grenade's going to be coming in though, and Kanoho casts a bit of damage. Bitter Links almost gets knocked down there, but thanks to the shotgun coming from Barbar, but manages to put a glue wall just in time. Now trying to fight alongside the edge here. This is going to be a very hectic fight. Already knocked down. Nate coming down there. Chessman getting knocked down while Imran continues to try to fight his own here. He sees Barbar, swings around, manages to get the knockdown just in the nick of time, finishes him off as well. Kanoho trying to find a nade shot there, but is he going to be able to land it in time though? What? Oh my goodness, Imran is going to take him down. Shakur takes down Batman. Then Kanoho, grenade launcher and a grenade throw, taking out the rest of AXT. My goodness.
He did it all just by throwing grenade. This, like, he probably has a golden arm at this point. It's so good on the utility. He has finally expended all of that frag grenades, but the value that he got out of it was more than what anyone could have expected. I believe 4 nade kills. And the quad kill basically came from nade kills, right? If grenade kills give you more points, I felt like Kanoho himself could have won the entire round for his team. But right now he's stranded, on Bermuda, all alone, with very minimal resources. It's gonna take some time to stock back up. That means all the other teams will have more time to work with. RV makes it into the center of the circle. We're just slightly off Bimasakti strip as we look at this bird eye view. It's gonna be pretty crowded. K9 Blanks been the first one to rush through the compound. They will run straight into Legion, but K9 is working with a man deficit. They don't have the Superman with them, so the rest of the team gotta step up their game.
Yeah, the thing is, it's going to be a bit tough for them as well because LGN seems to be having themselves quite well hold up here. Good grenade going to be tossed out the roof there while the rest of K9 continues to swarm the lower ground. But Seika with a good shot from the side there does get the kill done. And now it's going to try to find the rest of them. Payne is going to be right beyond the door, but it looks like he got himself knocked down as well. LGN seems to be having a good handle in this fight right now. You're going to try to find one through the door, but the glue wall makes it impossible to move through. Pan tries to find them as they run around the outside there. Payne trying to get a shot at the Kush God as well, but my goodness, LGN still able to fight their own on the outside. But what the hell? I mean, Seika just managed to use the Max 7 to take one out, and looks like No Escape Revolt managed to get the Legion right now, still able to hold their own here.
Boy.
And yep. Oh, what? Oh, BA third-partying it from the high ground.
Those bullets, high caliber rifles, they go through glue walls, so no matter how many glue walls you put up, it will be blasted through regardless. The piercing rounds is super deadly. But WNX, the team that kicked off the day with 17 kills, is now still standing. Full squad online, ready to march towards the potential first ever booyah. We have 4 teams left as Slumber picks himself up a triple kill. RV in a pretty decent spot, and now BA is going to be challenging them. Santua runs out of ammunition, gets knocked down by the blue zone. Shakur also gets incapacitated. Santua won't be rescued by his team, unfortunately, as he finally ticks out and expires to the circle. No points for any other team, though. We actually get a flash onto Yadob, temporarily blinded, but as he recovers from that, the rest of WNX are ready to make that march uphill.
And one thing going for them is that they are still very much farmed up and they haven't really been involved in much fights as well. So they're definitely very fully kitted up coming into this final circle now. LGN still trying to hold their own, but Mickey's taking a lot of damage there. He might be on the verge of being knocked down while RV continues to shoot in from the side. WNX, unfortunately, he's got a knockdown there. What the heck? Hawkeye double kill with the Scar. My goodness, he's going to try to find another one. Does almost take down Slumber, but only knocks his health down to half. Now they're trying to use the trail here for cover, but WNX still outnumbers them 4-3. So RV might be in the fight for their lives right now if they want to try to get the booyah.
WNX, they can smell victory. Only a truck and a couple of glue walls separate RV from certain imminent danger. The flashbangs, they all get thrown in. And just look at this Zerg rush from the side of WNX. They have been stripped of their booyah 2 rounds in a row, but this is the round that they go for that win. Basic, let's go. They chip in, and it will be WNX getting the first booyah of the evening.
Finally, some affirmation for their efforts here. They're not only good at kills, they're also good at getting the places done. Booyah now for Who's Next, Kalahari, Philippines, and it couldn't come any sooner for this team.
And just an incredible round, right? We take a look at the reaction cam. And these guys, you can feel the elation, you know, in their emotions, right? And showing the booyah screen, they know that they've got what it takes. You know, game 1, 17 mind-boggling kills. Game 2, a bit slow, but game 3 was where they show us that, hey, don't forget about us too quick. We know hard to get, got 2 booyahs, but guess who's the king of takedowns is Who's Next, Kalahari, Philippines. It has always been them.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I love the little sassy finger waggers going like, no, don't count us out yet. You know, we're still coming for you. Who's next on the menu right now?
It seems like no one, right? They just took out everyone. And I gotta give a quick compliment to Hawkeye. That we talk about, you know, Superman against Batman, but that's the DC universe, right? We got Hawkeye for Marvel, and it seems like he was the true hero of that game 3. In fact, we have 3 superheroes so far.
I mean, he was really finding his mark in that fight there. I mean, making full use of the Scar L and actually getting some good, decent shots there onto multiple targets. So definitely very well done for WNX. I didn't quite, I mean, I expected them to be aggressive. I didn't expect that this aggression is going to allow them to be in that position to actually snatch the booyah well. So yeah, very well done there for Who's Next, Kalahari, Philippines.
Absolutely, and this is all made possible by our sponsor, Snapdragon Elite Gaming, when winning matters. So if you guys want to check out Snapdragon, do remember to do so. But aside from that, we also have to thank Monster Energy for allowing everyone to unleash the beast. And in Game 3, Hawkeye definitely showed us what he's made of. Check them out at www.monsterenergy.com/gaming. And if you guys want to be a part of a bigger community, you want to find out what Snapdragon Pro Series is all about, whether it's Free Fire, whether it's other mobile game titles, join our Discord at discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series, and we guarantee you will find very friendly members there. You know, you can find very good conversations, and most importantly, there is a space for all of us to communicate our ideas.
Yeah, so that has been our first map for B versus C. We still have another map to go, which is going to be on Kalahari, so make sure you guys don't tune away from the stream quite yet, because the day is still not done yet here at the Snapdragon Pro Series Free Fire. We still have plenty of more points to play for, and definitely a lot more action in store in the games to come here. So, but so far, any kind of key takeaways you're going to be able to get from there?
Who's next? Kalahari, Philippines is coming, right? It's hard to get vulnerable, and I'm excited to see if Divine can step up the game. That's the team that we didn't see much in match number 3, but they still have a couple more rounds to go, and maybe we will get to see these teams in action. But before that, we gotta go for a short break, and we will come back for more SPS Free Fire action.
Look at my shine with the glow. This is my time with it though. This is my time to be way at the top. Me and my guys gon' pay out the block. I don't look like boss. Time's right, and I know the sea is walking in the limelight. Promise you gon' wanna watch like a sci-fi. My guys are high risers, high tide. Might drown if you come to my side. I pledge allegiance for lifetime. My squad connected like Wi-Fi. We grind and you see the highlights. This my life. It ain't a game now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Game now, me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way, you wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way.
Welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series Free Fire. We're your commentators. My name is Husky alongside Victor Cax, and we have 3 more Free Fire games to go. 2 on Kalahari, 1 on Bermuda, and just now, Fusnet Kalasa Philippines finally showed up huge with a booyah.
Yeah, indeed, and I can't wait to see whether or not they'll be able to continue this trend going to Bermuda right now, because it feels like they're just about woken up right now and they're starting to actually impose a little bit of danger right now to some of the other teams here, because they're showing that not only are we good at hunting you down, but we're also going to be coming for your placement points too. So that's going to be really exciting to see, because again, Kalahari being quite a different map compared to Bermuda means that they probably may have to change up a little bit their strategies too going into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at the round standings first from that round number 3, with WNS getting that booyah and 11 kills, placing them at a whopping 23 points. No Escape Revolt coming in second with 15, and GM Remy with 14 in third place. Legion Alpha in fourth with 12, alongside Black Angel, Maharuka, and Anxiety in sixth place with 9. And this time, hard to get. In a rough spot, 2 points alongside Omo Romeo and Divine.
Yeah, that's a bit interesting to see as well, but it's also kind of interesting that, you know, especially compared to that first game there, you know, you're seeing just like with the previous games as well, we're starting to see the kill points being a little bit more spread out amongst the teams here. So that means that you're again not having the points too stacked on one or two teams. It's a little bit more even now. So even though Who's Next Kalahari has taken the majority of the points here, it's only a very minor majority here, and definitely some of these other teams like No Escape Revolt or GM Remy may have potential to try to challenge them for that crown. But look at the amount of damage that Who's Next Kalahari is able to do. 4,914.
Yeah, just incredible efficiency, 11 kills, and 17-minute survival time. Not that the survival time matters too much, but the damage numbers, they do tell a tale. In fact, let's check out the overall standings. So far, after 3 rounds, Group C only played 1 round, so this is not indicative of the potential of those teams in Group C. But Who's Next Kalahari Philippines is in the first place in a very dominant fashion, almost 20 points ahead of Hard to Get, followed by Anxiety, 3rd place with only 30 points. EVC in 4th place, Orange Esports 5th, GM Remy 6th place, No Escape Revolt in 7th place, Valhalla squeezing into 8th place, and AKO Ultraman in 9th place.
Yeah, I mean, momentum is certainly on the Who's Next Kalahari's side here, because that's going to be a very huge lead there to try to make up here for Hard to Get. 19 points if my mental maths are serving me correctly here. So even if Hard to Get does get the booyah, they still have to buff it with a lot of kills there. But in terms of that kill abundance, Who's Next Kalahari is definitely killing it, literally speaking there, with 34 kills total over the last 3 maps. So that's going to be quite a tall order there for some of these teams to get, but definitely things are still going to be very competitive from 2nd place onwards down. So still a lot of potential for teams. We'll see how it goes.
I feel like a jinx, right? Because just now when we looked at Group C and you asked me what teams am I looking at, and I say ORV Tyrant, I say K9, I say Divine, and all of those teams ended up in the second half of the leaderboard by the end of the round. So hopefully, they step up their game. But in Free Fire, I am used to being a jinx, because a lot of times I just end up calling out a team. I say, yeah, this team looks good, and they just completely blow up the next round. But maybe it's just coincidence. I refuse to believe that I'm the jester.
I mean, to be fair to Group C, this is literally their first game of the day. They could still have a lot of room to improve in the future ones. So I wouldn't hold it too much against them. Maybe they might be able to prove your point coming into the next game.
Yeah, I kind of feel, I don't want to say that I gave myself that title, but across 2 years since 2021, it felt like a theme, right? Like I say, right, Team A is gonna be damn good, and then they just completely, right, just get nothing.
Dude.
Maybe with time it heals, right? Maybe I have washed that away. So
I mean, I've been commentating for like years now, and I gotta tell you, the Cass's curse is a real thing. It's an actual thing that happens. So don't feel too bad.
Yeah,
it happens.
Sometimes it makes me believe, right? Do I believe in superstition like this, right? Do I believe in jinxing people? I don't think so, right? I feel like I just have really bad judgment. I think that's the right term. I have really bad judgment. Situational judgment. I feel I'm making it sound worse. Now it sounds like I'm saying that the teams are not good, but trust me, they are good, and this is why they are here. But if you guys want to call me out and say that I'm jinxing your favorite teams, go ahead to post it on social media. But do remember to include the hashtag Snapdragon Pro Series, because you might stand a chance to be featured on broadcast saying that, why are you jinxing my favorite team, Husky? What are you doing? If you think you're that good, you can go play yourself. But of course, I'm not good.
If you want to be the jinx instead, maybe you could let us know your predictions inside the Twitch chat. Go ahead and cast your vote in there, and hopefully maybe either the team is going to fall off the map there completely, or maybe you might just be a better predictor compared to Husky right over here.
Yeah. I believe that anyone is a better predictor than I am. Just putting it out there, right? But I mean, probability. So here's the thing that I find interesting, right? When we talk about probabilities of teams winning, sometimes we look at it, oh, this team is a 36, it's like what, 60-40, but to me it's always a 50-50, right? It's either you win or you lose. I sound like a boomer saying that. I sound like someone who is not fun at parties. But let's see if the teams that I mentioned just now can get a better result in match number 4. We're gonna fly straight into Kalahari in just a bit, and this is where they get put to the test.
I wonder with your reputation, or rather yourself, reputation as a jinx, whether or not this is going to force a lot of teams to try to consider the strategy of maybe, let's hope that, or let's try to strategize ourselves to not get mentioned by Husky, and hopefully that way we'll be able to continue on our matches, or continue on to victory here. But nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be jumping into this next game now. WNX going to be finding a good landing point here, quite close to the northern side of Ridge. And right now, teams actually not really going that spread out. In fact, they're actually crowding around a lot more compared to some of the other, some of the previous games we've seen so far. I mean, Anxiety landing right on top where ORV is. K9 as well, already starting to bring some fire down as soon as they land there. So they're already trying to find some kills right off the bat. But Anxiety at the moment still trying to find their own spot here. BA as well, trying to get themselves in the face. Oh, look at this! Barba trying to find some good shots there as K9 actually running right out in the open onto the road there. That's not a place they want to be caught out here at this point. Chessman trying to get in on the action as well. It looks like they managed to get knocked out to Superman. No, Superman, not like this. Barba getting knocked out completely. How is this going to turn out? This is looking like a bloodbath already, and we only just started this game.
Is this Superman or is this Clark Kent? Or Ken Clark, I can't remember the name, but but he's still in report mode. Superman, a really rough start, and AXT going for more. Chessman now shows up, and Chessman is not better than Superman. Somehow gets knocked by Pain, but there is going to be cover coming up for Kanoho. He's jumping straight down for the mountain because he is going there for his buddy. Fortunately for AXT, for Chessman, his friends are around, but unfortunately for K9, I think that this is probably the end of the line for Pain as he bleeds out in the open, and Normain will be the last survivor of this match. Kanoho eliminates Pain, and K9 off to a abysmal beginning.
Yeah, oh my goodness, Normain being the only person left standing literally has to run away right now. He didn't really get much farm either all throughout that, so man, that's just an abysmal performance there. K9 definitely searching for something a little bit better this round, hopefully. ORV in the meantime though, they have landed themselves quite close to Refinery and actually finding this whole area for themselves, so they're pretty much going to have free reign to farm all throughout this entire area here. Is anyone going to be coming by? Not quite yet, but look at Divine though. They might be able to get a cash here onto Dookie. He's going to have to get out of the 10. Jose's, run straight into the gun of you. And it looks like he's going to be taken off of the map completely. And even, look at you. It's literally teabagging him. That's kind of an insult. Oh, man.
I love this personality from Divine. This is what they are known as. They're entertainers, they are fighters, Mr. D. But another one, and this time, Arion, he is out of the game. Divine kicks things off with 2.
Yeah, that's a really good start here for Divine right now. Valhalla, unfortunately, losing 2 members. Mumuki, even though he had a sniper rifle, there was literally nothing he could do. He's going to try to link up with Melo right now, but with the 2 of them being all by themselves, there's not much farm even between the 2 of them right now. That's just a massive, massive blow there that's been dealt to them by Divine.
And Valhalla now having to survive the rest of the round with only 2 members left. And so far across these 4 rounds, I think the only round that Valhalla kind of stepped up the game and got more points was that match number 2 on Kalahari as well. And the rest of it has been kind of blowouts. ORV, on the other hand, also off to a slow start in their very first match, but now they're going to face off against GM, who so far has been pretty consistent when it comes to all these aggressive maneuvers, which is a double-edged sword, and this time I feel like they are just trying to run circles to get some recon done, and it ends out with them taking out members from Legion. For some reason, these guys just are so good when it comes to this control aggression, and Legion Alpha becomes the first team to get eliminated.
Wow, I mean, they took quite a bit of damage, but really with 0 knockdowns on their side there, that's about as clean as it gets there as far as engagements go. Thing is, ORV is still around the corner, so they can easily try to get the jump on the GM here. Ramiel might just be spotted here by Hades Step. He's going to go for the shot. Didn't quite land though, and unfortunately, Hades Step is going to be pulling back. So ORV not able to get a jump. Fura might be moving in for an invasion. He's going to get spotted here as he bites his way between the pillars. Manages to get himself right out of the danger zone now, having a wrap around here, so he's already scouting up ahead, letting GM Remy know exactly where these positions are, so they know that no one's on the ground. They're pretty much up on the platforms here, so maybe GM Remy might be able to use this to their advantage.
K9 Esports is the next to go as Chessman eliminates the remnants, and that means no remain was snuffed out. We're already down to just 10 teams, under 6 minutes. So far, things are going so well for the rest of them. In fact, I think for K9 and Legion Alpha, they do have some things to reflect on, right? You can take this time to think about what to do when they face off against a Group A later on. But on the other hand, WNX again with the flashbang out from Hawkeye as Let's Go and Yadop go in for the push. They're surrounding the members of Valhalla from different corners, and Mello has no way out. It's easy pickup for WNX.
Yeah, WNX now trying to see if they can find any more members, but there's no one to be found within this area right now. But in fact, within their zone, it seems like Valhalla is already moving in to the village just below where they are. Momuki already getting himself up onto a tower here to try to see if we can spot anyone. Yadop already getting some shots down onto where Divine is, so they're already trying to find an engagement. But the thing is, Mr. D does have a sniper rifle in hand. In fact, he's got an AWM, which should be able to break through some of these glue walls here, so WNX has to be very careful in how they want to try to approach this fight. Yadop trying to get some shot using the car 90, is that a car 98? It looks like a scout rifle actually, but Let's Go continue to shoot right through the doors here. Can't quite find his mark onto the rest of the Divine, but he does have the high ground, which certainly is going to allow him to keep an eye out for where the movements are going to be. Newbie is going to be moving up forward here. Let's Go going to be hiding right behind the glue wall. Yadop trying to move in closer to try to get some good engagement distance here, but watch out, Newbie already moved up. He's going to try to find Yadop and he's literally going to try to hit him with his frying pan right now because he's just that close. Look at that shot there with the M14. Yadop could be in deep trouble right now as he puts up the Chrono Spear, trying to keep himself alive, trying to run out of the way. Wow, he's still able to get away just in the nick of time. Newbie now is going to be coming under fire, so he's forced to bring out his glue wall. He does find a bit of cover right now, but unfortunately he's lost that window opportunity to get the knockdown.
Oh, and wow, he closes it out with a nade on Yadop. He is so far out in the open. When Newbie missing that barrage of shots, that really got super dicey right there because it was kind of a kill given, a free kill for Divine, but nonetheless they were able to get the knockdown. But they gotta be careful because behind them is a separate team, and guess what? It's the ever aggressive GM Remy, and Shura will be the first point of contact. He will be the overwatch for the team because if GM goes through, then the rest of Divine will have their backs exposed. But it seems like GM, they are gonna take this long route to try and surround Shura, and Shura just runs straight into the crosshairs of Ray Meow. And that means that the backs of Divine have been exposed.
Yeah, GM is definitely farming for those kill points right now. Look at how aggressively and how quickly they're maneuvering here to try to catch Divine off guard here. So Divine very quickly is going to have to leave their post here because GM's already trying to find a high ground. And in fact, they're already putting some good shots into Zen. The OP takes down his glue wall, doesn't quite get the knockdown though. Giannaquila goes up in front, tries to take down Liu, doesn't quite get the knockdown until just now there with the shotgun. So now, looks like they will be able to lead a member from Divine. That's putting them down to 3.
And Divine slowly getting picked off left, right, and center. Zen tries to get away. They actually have a vehicle, but ends up falling to the gunshots of Ray Meow as well. And Mr. D, I think I'm having to ditch his only remaining teammate and left him out to dry. But the silver lining is that Divine are still in the game, and WNX now will have to face the wrath of GM. Now WNX are not the only team who can go for all those kills. It seems like GM have woken up as well. Ray Meow though, tasting the bullets of Basic, as Basic will win that exchange, but it was all just a farce to get his teammate out of this predicament.
Oh, I thought Let's Go was pretty much going to be finished there with with two members of GM just laying fire on him, but somehow he's managed to slip past the grass, get his heel back up, and now is positioning himself to try to gatekeep GM as a blue zone. The danger zone is already swarming around GM's position, so this fight is starting to turn around here for WNX. Even though they lost two members, now GM is caught outside here, and they're going to be taking a lot of damage here. They can't quite push this fight any further. They're going to be pulling back and repositioning themselves to try to get into the circle instead, so they're pretty much abandoned this little engagement.
Yeah, and it's completely fine for GM. They do have 7 kills so far, with only 26 other enemies remaining on the map. I think GM have finally gotten off to a way better start compared to what we've seen in the previous 3 rounds. Circle, once more, a bit centralized, right? Just slightly southeast of Refinery. And that's where we see ORV being around. We have H2G also in the vicinity. In fact, those two are basically beside each other. The RV on the other side receiving some fire from WNX.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that the circle pretty much ended up more or less the same area as the previous Bermuda round. So I wonder if the RNG is really working out that randomly for this particular matchup. But nevertheless, though, it looks like RV is already on the move. They spotted WNX, which forces them to go out onto the the blue zone here, to try to wrap around. Unfortunately, Let's Go gets spotted out by RV, who are bringing some shots his way there, hopeful to try to get a knockdown. But Slumber takes a lot of damage in the process, though. So he's still staying on the front line, though, but it's only about 1 shot away from getting knocked down completely. So the rest of RV are going to be moving up instead, sending a grenade down, trying to get a knockdown to Let's Go. Is that going to be able to land? Let's Go gets 1 knockdown. Senju does get a knockdown of his own through the grenade, so it's going to be 1 for 1. And unfortunately, a second grenade by Senju will finish off WNX Let's Go.
Yeah, and Basic has knows that there was no way that he could have saved Let's Go. It was a good attempt from WNX, but again, the utilities usage was just great. Was just, I would say, on point. That means that WNX finds themselves on the back foot once more after a glorious round 3, and now it's more than nothing. Getting overtaken by all of these teams. You can say the same for AXT. They are just down to Kanoho and Chessman, but these are the 2 members that always had the club potential. And again, another grenade for Kanoho. This one downtown feels like it lands, but it's not the frag. So no instant kill, but it did hit the mark.
Yeah, I mean, that ice grenade does put out a massive area effect there that pretty much if someone gets trapped within a room with that could spell the end of them. But being this out in the open there, that's only going to annoy GM a little bit there. They are calling drops of their own, so they're trying to replenish some of the supplies here. So Anxiety, even though they have some good drops here, it looks like it's only going to be cognizant for them to just stay there for a little while, but the high ground does give them a pretty good view of this area so far, which isn't quite inhabited by any other teams other than GM. But we're also starting to see some of the other teams start to get into the fray as well. RV trying to get a little bit of a backdoor situation here. They've already taken control over the refinery area. As we see, the next circle going out to the outside here. Does have a complex within it though, and I wonder if GM is going to be able to get there, but it looks like they're going to be gate-kept by Anxiety in the process.
And Sanctus actually takes down to the blue zone. I wonder what happened. I wonder what happened. He got knocked. It's kind of a weird way to go as BA Maharika, they're already out of the game. ORV getting a bird's eye view over the entirety of Ace2G as Hades Stab being really patient. Unfortunately not taking the shot. Don't want to reveal the position just yet. So no risk taken, but AXT, they're taking as much shots as they can.
Yeah.
And a man flank on the other hand was able to take down Suntua off screen, but AXT being really relentless and rewarded. Chessman just down Gym Quest, but it was ONO man flank that steals it away. All that effort from AXT amounts to absolutely nothing.
I mean, it figured it might have been an easy shot, but that's just only going to allow another team to steal their kills, and that's not going to be good for Anxiety because now that they're down to 2 people, they need those kill points right now, and it looks like they might actually get 1 finally. They actually get 2 here, so it looks like they will be able to get some good points after all. Now, Senju caught around the outside there. This could be a chance for Kanoho to get some hurt done, but unfortunately, his old teammate, Chessman, has just been knocked down, so they're hurting as well well on their end. Now, as looking Sanju is going to get caught out by GM and the rest of his. Kanoho continue to try to shoot outside of that blue zone there. Ziggy Mumuki, he's trying to keep himself healed out on the outside, but that looked like it was still a little bit too close for comfort there, and looks like finally Imran puts in the kill there from behind and pretty much puts that last member of Valhalla out of his misery.
GM are now pretty much aware that both Chessman and Kanoho are on top of the tower, so far having the best view of the entire battlefield. And meanwhile, oh no, Romeo, Imran last one to go. As ORV now go for the rush up. Hades Stab also providing some cover fire. Batman does go down. Jump somehow. How did he survive that? It took a bit longer for Insane to finalize the kill, but a kill is a kill for them. They did lose Batman earlier on, but actually that kill was stolen away, so H2G gets nothing out of it as ORV shows us the party rush does go down. Chessman once more from on top of the tower gets those snipe off, a quad for him, and Hades Stab is completely out in the open. Insane will put that final bullet in his body. We are down to 4 teams and 10 members left alive as AXT finally descends from the tower. Kanoho on one side, Chessman on the other, completely separated from one and another, whereas GM are very much safe, tucked inside the command post, but they gotta leave soon.
Yeah, the thing is that the blue zone is already crowding around them. The circle doesn't quite favor the position, so they're just trying to find some kills, some extra kills before that the blue zone inevitably swarms their position. Mr. D is still going to be caught outside. He runs out the door just in time. The grenade almost catches him, but Aguila, he knows that the blind is right there. He's going to go with him straight with the frying pan. And into the fire right now as Aguila, strangest shot. Mr. D gets taken down. Divine taken out. 4 team in this round. Now GM are continuing to try to stay in position. Aguila unfortunately not able to hold his own. His Ares finishes him off with a max 7. Führer now trying to find a good position here, but the glue wall is only barely keeping him alive. Kanoho has a grenade in hand. He's each going to be able to find his mark though. He has to watch out because Shira is trying to wrap around true to one. He does get the kill onto get a knockdown onto Ramiel. So yet again, that golden arm is certainly paying dividends right now for Kanoho.
And H2G, they have 3 more members left and they're bombarding GM with all that grenade. Insane lands that one. GM still have the glue wall, but to save Ramiel and Insane is not going to be an easy task. In fact, Ritu just take down Ramiel goes down as well as H2G put himself in a good position, but they're getting rushed by AXT. Chessman is in a 1 versus 3, has the glue wall, the flashbang actually blinds Insane. Chessman nowhere to be seen as Kanoho finishes off Führer. Chessman finally gets taken down. H2G staying in the round, 2 more teams left as now Insane he hops over the wall into the hands of Kanoho. He gets knocked down by the blue zone. Kanoho still stands, but anxiety goes down, and H2G caps off their day 1 run with the 3rd booyah of the evening.
Wow, H2G does it yet again. The 3rd booyah they've managed to collect for today. And that was quite an insane series of events leading up to that. It looked like for a moment there, the anxiety being on around the outside was probably going to force H2G's hands. And he in fact did manage to get a knockdown onto one of the members as he attempted to approach him. But it's still the way you finish that really determines it all. And you can see the reactions from our players right here as they have realized they just nailed yet another decent booyah.
Yeah, and what a way to close out day number 1. Coming strong, coming hard and fast, and H2G showed us what consistency means. 3 booyahs. In soccer, I believe we call that a hat trick for H2G. Out of 4 rounds, that's a 75% booyah rates thus far. But H2G, they can take the rest of the evening off. They can go for a nice meal, get a hot shower, go to bed, and get ready for day 2 because day 1 has been absolutely amazing for themselves. But there are other teams who also got to a good start. I mean, this is the conclusion for Group B's involvement in this first evening.
Yeah, and you have to say as well, it was really good for anxiety as well. Even though they were down to 2 members quite early on in the game, they still played the cards really well. Found themselves up in the refinery, found themselves a good perch actually to snipe down on other teams, and actually made it all the way to 2nd place in this map here. So that's definitely a lot of placement points in addition to the amount of kills they managed to get. So nevertheless, that was a fantastic little round to have over here. Let's go ahead and see how things will turn out for the rest of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of this made possible once more by our partners, Snapdragon Elite gaming when winning matters. And you know, hard to get definitely embody this mantra, right, where winning matters in all rounds. And they got 3 out of 4 booyahs, and this also enabled by Monster Energy, where all of these players were able to unleash the beast within them. Check them out at www.monsterenergy.com/gaming. And of course, if you want to join the conversation or the discourse, do remember to log on to Discord and join us at discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series, because that is where all the conversation will be ongoing, regardless whether it's Free Fire or all the other mobile game titles that you might find liking to.
Yeah, so that is pretty much the end of the day for pretty much all the teams from Group B. But then for Group C as well as Group A, who are going to be coming back for this last 2 rounds, there's going to be the opportunity for them to try to climb themselves back up in the leaderboard and hopefully get some additional points to get themselves up there. But until then, we're going to be taking a short break, but we'll be right back with the final 2 matches for Group A and Group C. My name is Brady Cax, his name is Husky. We'll be right back after these messages.
Gotta get it, dime on the mission, snap any minute, casually winning, stop tripping on me, stop dissing on me, yeah, I got a dream, can't take it from me, my fire's burning, I'm always learning, tell me where to go, man, I'm on a journey, yeah, I can't explain it, I get excited, keep it 300, King Leonidas, strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride, working on me every single day and night, there comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. I don't got the time, put me in, coach. I've been going hard, time to let it show. Everything raw, give it to me now. Let me have the spot, man, it's going down. Gotta get it here, I don't wanna wait. Take what I want, then I go train. Gotta get a win, I won't lose the game. This is my year, I ain't gonna break. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side. Another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here.
Welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series for Free Fire. We are getting ready for the penultimate round of the day one evening. Back to Bermuda, but as Group B signs off, we welcome back Group A to take on Group C. My name is Husky. Alongside me is Victor Cax. So far, the first 2 batches of rounds that we've seen, I think Hard to Get have made a statement for themselves.
Oh yeah, I mean initially, I was thinking they were taking things conservatively, but then the fact that they've been able to get booyah after booyah since then is just going to show that they really are making themselves a real competitor in this fight right now. And the fact that they're going to be going into this next 2 matches with the lead in the leaderboards, I mean that's already a huge statement on its own. So let's go ahead and have a look at the standings after having finished the Group B and C rounds there. Actually, this was after the Kalahari round. So Anxiety XD did manage to get the highest point, but it's only a single point higher above GM Remy, who we did see really stretch their wings in this Kalahari round here by actually being very aggressive in their positioning as well as their propensity to find kills.
And I want to quickly, focus our attention on Hard to Get. Once more, Kevin, this was the round that they got the 3rd booyah, the last round of day number 1 for them. They only got 4 kills. And that was kind of the pattern that we saw, right? We compared them to this polarizing characteristic from WNS, where WNS has a ton of kills, but it can be a double-edged sword as in the end of round 4, they actually sit at 9th place with only 2 points to their name. But nonetheless, they are the closest contender to overtaking Hard to Get at the leaderboard last we saw them, and I want to see if that changes.
So that goes to my point about, having that difference in strategy, right? Whereas where Hard to Get was going for the more safer route by aiming to get to that booyah, but then with Who's Next Kalasat being a lot more aggressive, that actually hurts them in the rounds they're not able to actually get those kills. As you can see right now, that's certainly a very sparse amount of points to manage to get this round. Let's have a look at Anxiety though. The Magic nail 4,370 points worth of damage, 9 kills in total with 34.13% of shots on target. That's more than I usually get on CSGO, so I guess that's pretty good.
That's more than I usually get on any shooter games, unless they walk into me. But even then, I have problems shooting stationary targets. So, props to these guys. This is why these guys are pro players. Let's check out the overall standings because WNS somehow are at the top. And most of those points came from the kills. We just saw them having an abysmal round 4 with 2 points, and even then, they are telling us that, hey, calm down. Yeah, Hard to Get have 3 booyahs, but who needs 3 booyahs when you have 35 kills and you are still in 1st place?
But it's still not quite that big a win because remember, a lot of those were from some of the earlier rounds here. So the thing is that them having faltered in this most recent round means that Hard to Get has already closed the gap from 19. Now it's only 5 points away from overtaking Who's Next Kalasat PH. So certainly that's put them in the kind of like good position here to try to contest them. But certainly it just goes to show that, even though you may not be able to get the most in certain aspects, but by focusing on what you're able to pull off, what you're actually strong in, you can still guarantee yourself a decent position in the standings.
Yeah, and I want to quickly pull our attention to Divine in 9th place, right? And I say that because so far 1st to 8th place are teams from Group A and B, right? In Group B they finished all their games, but even then Divine is kind of the leader of the pack, the representative of Group C, because I believe they have something to prove, but so far it feels like they were not able to overcome the team from Group B. Let's see if that changes against Group A, because we have teams like AV Liger coming back in, Warsake Philippines also rejoining the fray, AKO Ultraman, Orange Esports, these guys will be back on the battlefield. GIX Project as well, the teams that I want to check out on Group C haven't been doing too hard. I mean, K9 in literally 2nd last place, but let's refresh your mind, your memory of who is in Group A. AV Ligers, Orange Esports, GIX Project, Warsake Philippines, AKO Ultraman, and EVA Continue.
Yeah, so these guys had a little bit of a break for the last couple of rounds, but now they're going to be back in action once more and definitely looking to try to climb themselves up on the leaderboard. With all of Group B not being part of the part of the equation anymore. That means that there's still a lot of ground that can definitely try to catch up onto the rest, especially when you talk about the midfield of the leaderboard. But let's have a look at Group C once more. It's going to be comprised of Legion Alpha, Honor Romeo, ORV Tyrants, Black Angels, Maharlika, K9 Esports, and finally Divine.
Yeah, Divine is kind of the pack leader right now for Group C. If you are playing for the Group C pride, I mean, Divine is your best shot because everyone else so far has not had any rounds that they can be vocal about. Right? I mean, K9 dropping the ball, Legion Alpha standing no chance. In fact, it felt like an internal warfare. They were fighting with each other for both Bermuda and Kalahari. So if there's one thing that we found out from the match 3 and 4 is that Group C are not able to overcome Group B. But maybe Group A brings a different dynamic to this competition.
But then given that they've only been able to play 2 rounds so far, I mean, it's still another round for them completely here. So
it's
still
fair fight, right?
Yeah, it's still going to be...
Both of them only played 2 rounds, or both groups only played 2 rounds.
So yeah, so it's definitely going to be a good opportunity for them to try to see if they can make a good mark here, especially as we're coming to the close of the day here. This is going to be their final opportunities, really, to try to gain some extra points. So yeah, I mean, definitely going to be keeping our eyes out onto Divine. They seem to be the standout so far from Group C here, and let's hope that they're going to be able to continue that on, or maybe I just had jinxed it for them, and well, bad luck for me, I guess.
Bad luck for them, right? We're not playing. Ha! I'm sorry, Divine. Please don't do. Please don't. We're in match 5, the second last match of this evening. Group A against Group C. It was a rough one for the teams from Group C, and hopefully they can find their footing. Group A, they got a well-deserved break after very intense first 2 matches, but now it's a completely different set of opponents on the battlefield. We'll see if teams like EVC can kind of continue that dominance that they have shown in the first 2 matches.
Yeah, and there certainly can be a case to be made that sometimes having that little bit of a break allows these teams to kind of like regroup their focus and hopefully be able to, take that opportunity to try to tune their strategies a little bit more, because sometimes, especially when you're doing back-to-back rounds, it can be a little bit difficult to have like a clear picture of how your progress is and how exactly you can patch up some of those mistakes. So sometimes, having that little break, it can be very crucial to a team's success in the future. But nevertheless, looking at the way the map is spread out for the moment, there's still a few hotspots though that I could see off, especially down by the southern side. AKO AV Ligers, they are pretty much in a field of their own here, pretty much having free reign to try to go around and farm as much as they need in this area here. That's the thing though, because like especially what I've noticed with some of these teams when it comes to Bermuda is that they tend to focus more on that early game farm rather than actually trying to go for those early game aggressive like fights here, and sometimes that does work to their advantage, sometimes it doesn't.
Did I just see that right? Seika just walked on air?
That's the thing though. We also saw Let's Go pretty much do the same thing around the pirate ship.
Yeah, well, I mean, the pirate ship, there's an argument to that, right? There's the structure of the ship, but Seika literally walked on air.
Sure, I mean, again, it might have been just maybe a little piece of the geometry just sticking out that allows him to stand onto there.
It could be.
But that's the thing. Like sometimes it can be very interesting, sort of like what do you call it, idiosyncrasies on these maps that teams can sometimes take advantage of. I'm not sure what kind of advantage can you get from that specific like area on that bridge, because it's still a very exposed position. Unlike the pirate ship, where if you can find a good platform or like an invisible platform to stand on, that does give you a bit of cover. But in some situations, maybe you might be able to use it as a bit of a shortcut to get from one place to another. Who knows? But in the meantime, though, it looks like it's a very, very quiet early round that we're going on here in Bermuda, because none of these teams are really stumbling into each other here. They're just more focused on trying to get that farm and hopefully save a lot of their energy towards that final circle battle, because they know that's when the action will start to heat up a lot. McRory trying to get himself up on the platform. That's a nice and good shot there, getting himself surfing all through the air, sailing on top here. And this is a good position to be in, because this is going to give him a bird's eye view of the surrounding area. So that's going to allow the rest of EVC to farm without pretty much worrying about any other teams trying to encroach onto their position.
just good maneuvers from the side of EBC. They actually, we saw, I believe, Legion Alpha near them, yeah, LGN at Plantation. Don't think they saw the members of EBC just yet. Seems like LGN have no intention of making too much movement. They're very comfortable just sitting in Plantation. But on the other end, with AV Ligers kind of entering the vicinity where GIX are around.
Yeah, and that might be potential for an explosive opening here if we can just find the drop. But in the meantime, P Panda doesn't quite spot anyone quite yet, but carries the huge scythe around, kind of anticipating some potential for close quarter battles here. Anubis trying to serve the edge of the blue zone right now, but unfortunately realizes that he might be a bit caught out here. He spots a couple of people roaming around. That's going to be Team GIX Esports, who are within this area here, so they know that another team is within the zone. They know a battle is about to begin. The shots are already ringing out, and Boomer already takes down Shares. So that's already one down here from AV Ligers. Can they try to get something in return, though? They do get in front of Rules, Strand from behind there, but Meng is able to get the trade there just in time, so he's going to try to get a revive on there. GIX, they got the first blood, but will they find even more? Anubis going to get deleted as well. AV Ligers getting slaughtered here in this fight that they didn't really need to go for.
Yeah, they try to be cheeky, but sometimes the stealth didn't work out. Now we are left with two members on the side of AV Ligers, Pipenda and Psycho. And this fight is pretty much done and dusted. GIX have successfully warded off the aggression from the side of AV Ligers. I call it aggression, but it felt like a very fragmented execution from the side of AV Ligers. And GIX walking away with 2 free kills, but they will still be, traveling in the same direction of where AV Ligers are heading towards, because they are tanking that blue zone a bit. But as for AV Ligers, they have no choice but to disengage.
Yeah, this early game right now, I mean, the blue zone will hurt, but it doesn't hurt as much as the later circles. So can still afford to try to maneuver around inside this. You get that? I mean, they've been out here for quite a while, and then P Panda is only down to just about a quarter of her health at this point. So she's still pretty good. She can still continue to run around here, maybe try to find some additional farm as they run through this other village. In the meantime, what's going on with Divine versus BA? Because it seems like BA is having a bit of a low ground here. They're going to have to fight uphill, and Shiraz is going to try to hold them off with the grenade. Doesn't quite get the knockdown that time. Going to throw another one in this direction. Elgato's going to try to, Guanto is going to try to wrap around there with his motorcycle. He tries to run in front there. He does pick up Shakur, but Divine still trying to fight their own. They have the top of the hill. The glue walls are coming out, making sure the BA still has the ground to fight on. But look at that, a little gap there. It's going to be a downfall of Shakur. It's XFX. It's going to be knocked down off of his bike. And now Shiraz is going to try to find the last member, but can't quite locate him. But the fight is pretty much over. Divine holds onto the hill.
Anyone watching right now would ask the same question. What was BA trying to accomplish in the entire sequence of event? It felt like they were trying to challenge Divine, but they were not ready to challenge Divine, and they rode their bike around. It was a kind of a recon mission, but it felt like there was a desynchronization, right? The communication wasn't really there for BA. Whichever reason it was, they had to surrender 3 members. Well, at least one of them is still alive, but that sequence of event was kind of a free-for-all for Divine.
That's the thing, because like for BA, it wasn't an advantageous position for them to even start the fight from and to begin with. So I guess like they were thinking that they could try to use the bikes to maybe wrap around the other side of the hill. But at that point, Divine started to jump onto them, and it pretty much fell apart like a house of cards. Meantime, Legion though, they have a catch onto AKO, and the match takes out 2 just in one fell swoop. The glue wall's not able to hold their own here as Legion still has a majority of the members. Too Fast attempts to try to send a grenade down, but takes a lot of damage as well. He's going to have to tank all of it for now. But across the bridge, there's some shots being fired onto him as well. So Too Fast going to lose his glue wall. Just puts down one down in nick of time, but he's still caught around the outside. He runs towards Legion's direction here, but he is very much in trouble right now. He's going to get knocked down. That was very inevitable here. The Axel attempting to try to get some return shots, but he's way too far out there to help his friend out, and unfortunately has to abandon ship.
That was the best that the EXO could have done In fact, they were able to take out Kushgod, so you get a 1-for-1 trade, I suppose, if you are AKO Ultraman, but in the bigger scheme of things, Legion Alpha also had to tank that loss, all thanks to K9 from afar on that, on the far end of that bridge, was able to snipe out too fast. AKO Ultraman just had no way to deal with it, or those long-range fires. But that also means that LGN is now alerted to where K9 might possibly be. I mean, for EXO, close quarter combat is something that you don't see too much from this guy. He prefers to stay behind. But as a one-man army, you gotta do what you gotta do. Just run, survive, try to get as much placement points as possible.
Yeah, but I don't think Legion Alpha will be able to do much about K9, given that they're on a bridge and it doesn't really make sense for them to leave their current position in order to try to fight them on a very open space there. So I guess they're just going to have to hang back and watch out for K9's own movements. So in the meantime, though, this circle getting ever smaller right now. We're going to be riding aboard with Ono, flank. He has an M40 in hand and is scouting ahead of his team right now to try to see if he can spot anyone here. Oh, the Axel is inside the house, but Manflank doesn't quite spot him, so he's safe for now, but only just. Riding around the edge of the circle here, trying to see if there's any teams making their way in. So Ono really wants to try to play the role of the gatekeeper here for this second circle, but unfortunately haven't quite found the prey to sink the teeth in. Manflank though is moving in where Legion is. They're already opening fire, so there's already a opportunity here for Ono as Flank attempts to try to run away. He's going to be guilty in order to make this escape. In the meantime though, 4bits finds this shot into L1, so that's going to be the end of BA. A very disappointing situation there for Team BA.
Yeah, I can say the same for GIX Project. Eviscerated by K9. The best start that this team has, compared to the previous 2 rounds that they played. With K9 finally getting, a head start in terms of not just kills, but decent positioning. But they gotta move, and the next destination is going to be in the vicinity of Plantation. So far, that area is not populated. At least not on the, except for the southern side, but on the other end, Ono getting rushed by Warsick Philippines as WS are storming the building. Compound pretty much compromised. Manflank is going to be the first point of contact, but he does have a couple of glue walls for him to work with, and that's where Invoker is going to toss out that grenade, trying to flush Manflank out. It did connect, bringing Manflank down to a really low quantity of health, and that's where Invoker goes in for the knock. And Manflank, trapped by his own glue wall, will be taken out.
Yeah, no way out of that situation there. I can only imagine Legion just watching this development with glee right now as Team Ono gets completely wiped out, even though Bitterlix is able to get a kill onto Warsick, one of Warsick's members too slow. Warsick is going to be moving in now to try to finish up Bitterlix, but Bitterlix still able to use the glue walls to his advantage. Runs around the outside there just as it clears out, but that makes him completely exposed. He's going to try to run around there, puts into some shots there, but unfortunately a knockdown still comes through from Joey with the Mag 7 and pretty much finishes up Bitterlix right there and then.
And I just realized that we have a very interesting cast of player names. We have Superman and Batman. We have too fast, and we have too slow. So we have Hawkeye. Do we have Black Widow? So far, we don't have that yet.
Oh man,
I feel like okay, maybe not Black Widow. Deadeye or Deadshot. What's the name of?
I think Deadshot is a DC character,
name, right?
DC character as well. So
yeah,
I can't think of anyone
so
from
Hawkeye
Marvel.
against Deadshot. Yeah, that makes more sense. Not Black Widow. That is a completely different one.
Well, in the kids didn't make the connection between too fast and too slow there, so that caught me out a little bit.
Well, we didn't get to see much of Warsick in the first 2 rounds they played.
True.
They did have a slow start. Invoker with another knock onto Abnoy, but no finisher just yet. Warsick had a considerably better round up to this point, but they do have ORV behind them. And thankfully for Invoker, he has a couple of glue walls to ensure that they can proceed forward. And I say that, and they have made contact with Orange Esports out in the open.
Man, if only that was a frag grenade, it could have been a knockdown to Jabat, but he's so lucky to get away with that just now. And I say that Shiraz just gets a knockdown onto him, so he's very much in trouble. There's not enough time to get him out of the way. Jabat is deleted off of the map right now, even though they were one of the first couple of teams to actually get within this this next circle here, that seems to have been their downfall because Divine was already ready for a fight here. And in fact, Shura Easy is not quite ready to lay down his guns because he spots ORV trying to make their way towards the circle as well. So now they're going to play Gatekeeper and start sniping at them from a distance here. Shura Easy spots Divine as well. He's going to be shooting them with the pistol, and doesn't seem to have made his mark quite yet. But for now, Divine pretty much holds control of the circle. Ultraman gets knocked down there and knocked out of the game there with Axel, the last member being caught out by Superman. And now K9 is going to be on the move, taking control over the northern side, where there's actually a complex that provides some good cover.
What a round for K9. Continuing that streak. 7 kills thus far. No casualties on their end. Orange Esports not so lucky though. As ORVs boxing them in. We see K9 coming in from the northern side, so this is going to be a very tough fight for them. Legion Alpha as well, caught in a bad spot. They're going to try and raise Warsick up the hill, but Warsick Philippines made it there for the Legion. Blank getting a knock. Pain also chips in as they all hold hands. And K9 getting reaping all of this reward. I mean, Legion wanted to outrun Warsick, but they run straight into K9. That means Blank gets a knockdown, gets a kill on the Seika. Unfortunately for Mickey, he is left all alone behind that glue wall. And if it's not K9 that gets him, it will be Warsick Philippines. Invoker getting another point for his team.
Yep, and they're quite out of the woods though, because Warsick is now going to have to deal with either Divine or ORV very, very soon. Orange Esports just waiting very patiently inside the complex on top there. That's a good shot there with the 1887 by, in order to take down Ruiz. But they will try to get the revive here. Grenade launcher already meeting his mark. Shiraz trying to find some shots here from the side. Hades Step with the MP5 already putting the hurt onto them. Taking out Noob. He's going to try to find another one and get another kill there onto Zen OP. No. So already getting the kills done.
Disaster for Divine. Noob knocked himself with the grenade launcher, and he caused 2 more of his teammates to go down because of that one blunder. And now Shura was like, why did you blow yourself up? You know, like we're supposed to use that to get knockdowns on other teams. This way K9 leading the chart in terms of kill points. Shura can only watch so much angles. Unfortunately, his back is exposed. Warsick coming in from the other end. It's going to be Warsick Philippines against K9, but Superman is not ready to go down. Not like the first 2 rounds. This time he stays alive. Jampong was able to take down Shura, and that means this is the end of Divine in round number 5. Superman rushing in forward, and indeed he has his Superman as they blaze through ORV Tyrants and secure themselves 12 points already.
Whew, that Mag 7 is such a powerful gun, isn't it? Already a couple of kills there for K9, and they're still having all 4 members alive right now. I have to say, though, Orange Esports is probably the luckiest bunch right now because the circle literally landed on top of them in this radio tower. Unfortunately, now it's going to be very, very crowded here. It's 3 squads all vying for that booyah right about now. Tacular trying to get a high ground, trying to get a jump onto Orange Esports. So is K9 at the same time. Look at that, eviscerating them from the left side and the right side, and they now know that what the target is to try to take down K9. Once Warsick is going to get completely surrounded here. They do have the man advantage on K9 side. Doormain already with a double kill there with the Max 7, and Superman getting knocked down on the outside of the play zone. It's a massacre right down the middle. Who's going to be able to stay on top? Warsick gets taken down. Oh my goodness, Warsick. It almost looked like he was able to get it, but it was K9 that takes it in the end.
Woo, that was way too close for comfort. That was like 4 guys against 1. There's no way Warsick wins that one. And then they almost did it. I felt like if Warsick had 1 more member, that could have been a huge turnaround. But nonetheless, K9 Esports with their booyah after 3 matches. And a very deserving one as well. This round, if there's anything about about these guys, that they love their partners a lot. So sweet. The power of love, whatever you call it out there, completely relatable. It could be their idol, I don't know. It could be their family members. Regardless, it was a very amazing win for K9. It feels like the performance that we saw from WNS in that game number 1, despite just minus the booyah.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be amazing for K9 now because having taken the booyah and also racking up so many kills along the way, I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to be finding themselves shooting up very high very quickly up that leaderboard here. But I have to say though, leaving that fight until the very bitter end there was massive chaos there, and it looked like it could have been anyone's game. I mean, if Warsake was able to actually get a good string of kills, that could have been the booyah for them, but it was just unfortunately not to be.
Yeah, and I just really enjoyed the side of K9. I hope that we see this side remain for the last round. But of course, this is all made possible by our partner, Snapdragon Elite Gaming. When winning matters, and K9 channeled that energy into match number 5. And I'm glad to see Superman finally take off that reporter glasses and put on that cape, because we also have to thank Monster Energy for allowing Superman to unleash the beast within him, just blaze through the competition. Check them out at www.monsterenergy.com/gaming. And of course, if you want to share this moment with everyone else, join our Discord channel at discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series, because this is where all the stuff relating to SPS Free Fire will be. And also, if you're not really sure which title you want to go to, we have a lot more mobile titles in that Discord.
Yeah, indeed. Make sure you guys join in on that community right now. But nevertheless, though, for today, we're going to be moving on to our last match for the day. Kalahari is coming up next. This is going to be the final opportunity for our Group A and Group C teams in order to try to fight their way through and hopefully be able to pull themselves up onto the top. But that's going to be a little bit in another time, though, because we have to take a short break here, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you join us after these messages.
got food. This here a dream. We done all seen 100 times over back when we was just teens. Now we going dumb. Told them we the one. They would count us out. Now we counting up the funds. Now without a doubt, they be throwing other ones. Like they was always rapping. Now believe them if you want. Now they show love. Came with a dub. It is what it is. It isn't what it was. They all love to hate when it don't work out. Tell you that they always been down when it does. Look. Say ooh right now. Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like wait, who us now? What you gonna do when we pull up on you? Like ooh touchdown. You already know what it is when we come through. Ooh shut down. Ooh shut down. Say ooh right now. Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like wait, who us now? What you gonna do when we pull up on you? Like ooh touchdown. You already know what it is when we come through. Ooh shut down. Ooh shut down. Ooh.
The last round of the Snapdragon Pro Series Free Fire Day 1 is about to begin later on between Group A and Group C. Once more, I'm Husky alongside Victor Cax, and we just saw K9 Esports finally waking up, particularly Superman. He unleashed his superpower, his superhuman strength, whatever that was, but we saw that sequence where he just ran in with zero regards and he came out alive.
Yeah, I mean, as expected from the invincible, bulletproof Superman himself, but maybe not so much bulletproof, but more brilliant tactics involved on their end, because being able to make their way to that final circle means they're going to net the vast majority of points. Look at that, more kill points than even their placement points there. It just goes to show how much work they've been putting in this recent Bermuda round. So 27 points in total for K9 Esports, 14 points going to Warsick, who did make it a really good last stand towards the end there, but alas, it was only good for 9 placement points. Orange Esports did manage to nail 3rd place, which is probably their best finish so far today here, so that's pretty much a good amount of points there for them to net in this round. ORV Tyrants down in 4th place, Divine in 5th, and Legion Alpha in 6th.
Yeah, and so far, at least off of that round, I mean, K9 Esports and the rest of the team showing much better performance than they did when they went up against Group B. So maybe we're seeing this rock paper scissors in effect, right? You know, Group B at the top and Group C coming in second. But we'll have to see if that's going to be the case after the next round. But for now, let's feast our eyes on K9 Esports, because after that monstrous round of match 5, 15 kills, they destroyed 13 ice walls. These guys just pack a punch, I suppose.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, again, just like how Who's Next Kalahari really dominated the first round of the day, now K9 Esports is starting to dominate the last, the penultimate round for today here. So will we be seeing a massive, huge finish here from K9 Esports, or will someone else be the one to try to rain on their little parade here? Let's have a look at the overall standings right now. Who's Next Kalahari's PCH, of course, still takes the bulk of takes the top of the leaderboard right now at 59 points. There's still going to be a massive target to be made up from our teams in Group C as well as Group A. But for now, though, it looks like Orange Esports managed to make themselves all the way up to 5th place, just ahead of where K9 Esports is. So this next round could be very crucial for both of these teams' chances to get some extra prize money.
Especially for K9 Esports, right? They jump from the second half of the overall leaderboard to the first half, and now they are in 6th place. If they get another monstrous performance in this final round, I wouldn't be surprised to see K9 up in that top 3. And the question now is K9 the hope for Group C? I mean, we can say the same for Divine, right? The position has not changed, but you know, for teams like Warsick, Philippines, and EVA Continue, kind of an underwhelming match number 5. They were getting outgunned, they were getting outmaneuvered, and the fact that we saw so many situations where these two teams, you know, got off to a slow start, but ended up losing gunfights that we thought that they would have an advantage over is kind of surprising.
I have to say, especially for Orange Esports and K9, it does feel like getting up into the top 3 might just feel a little bit more approachable after that amazing performance from the last from this Bermuda round. But it all comes down to Kalahari, and that's where things may change or may not change depending on how they try to approach this. Nevertheless though, we're going to be getting ready for an interview with one of our members of K9 Esports. Let's go ahead and check it out.
Game that you guys play, but suddenly K9 performed very well. What happened actually?
Actually, the first and second game, we were so nervous and we didn't get our thoughts together. That's why we got early in the first and second game. But in third game, we got used our teamwork on the game. That's why we rise up.
Okay, so untuk soalan yang pertama ini, Ikuto menanyakan kepada K9 Blank di mana kenapa game yang pertama dan game yang kedua mereka tidak perform seperti di game yang ketiga. So Blank cakap game yang pertama, game kedua mereka nervous dan ataupun gementar, dalam bahasa Melayunya gementar, dan tetapi game yang ketiga mereka kembali bangkit dan orang kata apa, bermain dengan strategi berkumpulan dan akhirnya mendapatkan booyah.
So K9 Blank, I just want to know, in this Snapdragon Pro Series, who do you think is the strongest team other than K9? Who do you think is the strongest team currently?
Oh, I think the strongest team is the one who give us threat is the Anxiety and GM Remy. Yeah, that both team is the one that give us threat.
Alright, so Ikuto kata bertanya untuk soalan yang kedua, pasukan apa yang memberikan cabaran kepada pasukan K9. So Blank kata dua pasukan ini, Anxiety dan juga GM Remy. So dua tim ni yang memberikan yang menggugat kedudukan pasukan K9 bagi mereka.
Okay, so my last question to you, K9 Blank, do you guys think that you guys can get another booyah for the last game for today?
Of course, we will guarantee you that we will get the next booyah this last game.
Okay, how many kills? How many kills that is going to be?
Probably we will try to get 2-digit kill for this last game.
So 10 above lah. Alright,
Yeah,
alright.
10 above.
Okay, so untuk soalan yang terakhir, Ikuto kata boleh tak dapat booyah untuk game yang terakhir ni, dan Blank kata of course. Semestinya boleh untuk dapatkan booyah dengan kill yang melebihi 10, maksudnya 2 digit.
Alright, thank you so much K9 Blank for your time, and we wish you all the best for the next game.
You heard it second here, folks, because you know the BM side heard it first. Thank you very much to Ikuto and Haji for helping us conduct the interview. But Blank said they want to get double-digit kills by the end of this last match of the evening. Do you think that's possible?
I mean, of course, it's always going to be possible. Anything is possible as far as I'm concerned when it comes to games like these. But for K9 in particular, they definitely need to aim for that if they want to get the top 3 finish, because there's still a huge gap to try to make up in order to be up there amongst the ranks of who's next, Kalahari or Anxiety. But it's still, that double digit is going to be very crucial, because it means that it definitely means that they're going to be aiming for a way more aggressive round here in Kalahari, and it does mean that they really just trying to maximize the total amount of points they can get from this last round.
Absolutely, and we also want to get your opinions on how you feel about the teams and their performance thus far. I know it's only day 1, but a lot of viewers out there have their own comments, and share that on social media with the hashtag Snapdragon Pro Series and stand a chance to be featured on our live stream. And of course, if you are watching this on twitch.tv, submit your predictions down below. Let us know which team that you think is gonna take the booyah for the last round, or tell us how many kills exactly do you think K9 Esports will garner by the end of the round. The most accurate answer will get a cookie from me virtually.
Like, are you gonna bake it on stream later on, or?
I hope so. Oh wait, let me change it. Right, whoever gets the most accurate answer can demand me to jinx a team tomorrow. Sounds more easy.
Yeah, that sounds like
easier to deliver, right? Rather than me baking, because I don't want to set the studio on fire. So I'll stick to what I'm good at.
Yeah.
my voodoo magic.
Magical indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be running into our final match for today. This is Kalahari here. And boy, oh boy, what a battleground it's going to be for our final two group of teams. So let's see whether or not K9 will be able to live up to the promise, or is there going to be more in store for them in these rounds to come.
Of course, we have, we have our attention snatched by K9 Esports, right? They came in. I say from the very beginning that K9 Esports is a team that we need to watch out for. After their first two debut rounds, I kind of had my doubt, but after match 5, I think K9 have finally found their stride. Just like what Blank said, they came in a bit nervous, but they were able to recover and get their stuff together. And, I mean, right off the bat, you drop late. Lemon just gets a free pick off. And you can see the rest of BA, they were like, nope, no chance, not gonna save him, he's gone. AKO Ultraman getting a free kill.
See, that's the problem sometimes. Like, if you are going to be the last to drop there, this leaves you so vulnerable. And there was literally nowhere for him to go. I mean, he was just floating down the sky, from the sky, and that was an easy kill there for AKO Ultraman, to pull off. And now the rest of BA just scrambling to try to find a good position here to try to anticipate the approaching attack here from AKO. But AKO for now just keeping an eye out, trying to see if they can spot positions here in order to decide which way they're going to try to approach from. But for now, though, it looks like a flanking maneuver by Too Fast is going to be able to wrap around the back here. He's in a very good position to try to backdoor them. In fact, he's watching the stairwell, making sure that there's a clear path for him to get up to the second floor, because that's exactly where XFIX is actually holed up in. But he's really also playing the role of being a gatekeeper right now. I think they may have just spotted Chiasi trying to make a run for it up by the hills, and Too Fast is going to try to intercept him. He finds him right in position there, puts out a glue wall just in the nick of time. So now it's going to be a bit of a standoff between the two. He tries to get to the high ground. Just barely makes it up there. He almost loses his health completely through there. Now Chassis is going to be left around the outside there. Too Fast makes a shot. They manage to get a knockdown on him just in time, and the Axel is the one who actually gets a kill there from using the Mac 10 down by the ground. So Too Fast getting rescued by the rest of his team. Now BA is going to try to see if they can try salvage this, but no. XFIX gets taken down, and now it looks like BA is going to be down to their last remaining member here. And boy, what a terrible way to start off this final round.
I mean, Shakur is... Yeah, that's the only guy left. AK Ultraman, knowing these guys, they probably would try to search the area and making sure that, no stragglers survive. But Shakur is going to take that chance to bolt for it. I believe AKO Ultraman did see him. There is no purpose for them to continue this chase. They're happy with 3 points. They are more occupied by Orange Esports while coming in from behind. In fact, we look at AV Ligers while dealing with Orange Esports. And we see Anoop is actually taken out, though Goku receiving some return fire. But the stress, the pressure is going to be on Orange Esports, as AV Ligers are getting all these free shots on them.
Yeah, and especially that pressure becomes even more intense when you realize that Orange Esports on the leaderboard right now overall is still in a very good chance to get themselves up in the top 3, and that could mean a minimum of 1,000 Singapore dollars at the end of this competition. So the stakes are really high here for Orange Esports to be able to get those double-digit kills. So similar with how K9 is right now. But Orange Esports so far haven't been able to get the jump, and EVC is already getting to the mix now, sending grenades their way. Decause almost getting caught out there. Another one's going to be sent down there, but gets blocked by the glue wall. So no knockdowns, no kills so far for McRory, but not for lack of trying. Ross Ox is going to try to watch the flank here as 4-Bits attempts to try to use the high ground to his advantage, but he also has Ross has to also watch out at the low ground, because inside the complex, that's where the rest of EBC is holed up in, and they can definitely get a really clear shot at him if he's not too careful in the way he positions himself.
Yeah, watch out for EVC is McRory. He will be the first guy to make contact with Orange Esports, but contrary to what we saw from EVC in the past 3 rounds that they played, they decided to back off at least for now. GIX doing the same, because AV Ligers is kind of pushing it a bit far, trying to see how much they can get out of GIX. And up to this point, not that much. GIX still very much safe, stuck in the ruins of Old Hampton. But AV Ligers also making sure that they don't progress forward, at least for now. But as the danger zone dissipates, this is where AV Ligers have a better shot of potentially making that move forward, and they're doing so. Anubis on that right, slowly inching forward.
Yeah, but they need that flank to go in front because Panda can't really hold her position too long. The double-edged sword of being up there in the perch is that you're actually quite exposed at the same time, especially this particular position here. So Panda is going to be banking on Anubis trying to make his flank right now, but he hasn't quite made any good progress his side. In fact, he's going to be peeling back a little bit. Shares is on the other end of the map, or other end of the complex here, and he's trying to get a flank, but he's being held up by Boomer, unfortunately, at this point. Now, Panda joins them on the ground right now. They're going to try to make this a ground assault. Kimi taking a lot of damage here, but he's still able to stay within the safety of his Sakura team blue wall. He's going to set up another one to try to get himself in front, get the knockdown to Panda. Can he get another one? Anubis moves around the side there, still able to stay within cover, but now GIX seems to have gotten the jump onto AKO. Anubis has to turn around here. Rules, attempting to go in front, tries to get a knockdown, still not able to find his mark. But of course, Psycho finds him around the corner there, saving his teammate. But now GIX in trouble right now as Boomer is the last one standing. He's going to be the last one taken down by Psycho with his MP40. And man,
no.
man, what a turnaround. But
Orange
Esports comes in to third party this. Look at that. Getting the knockdown, getting the kill as well. What a way to try to finish this off.
Easiest kill of their lives comes right in as the members of AV Ligers were recovering. I mean, Psycho did all that work only to be backstabbed by Orange Esports. And you know what hurts the most? He couldn't revive his teammate, that's one, but all the kills got credited to Orange Esports, so they got 3 for the price of 1. That's an offer if I've ever seen one. I mean, Orange Esports should be delighted with that opening. And you just mentioned that they are in a really good spot to make top 3 as well, right? Aside from K9. And what better way to increase your chances by getting that kind of advantage?
I mean, that's just so much value right there. That's not just a deal. That's literally a steal right there. So Orange Esports already off the bat are getting the deal of their lifetime right now, coming into this next circle here, which yet again finds itself landing with Refinery being right in smack dab in the middle. Foundation is also caught up in there as well. Divine here may have spotted ORV because they're both contesting this one spot, but ORV is within the danger zone though, so they're just going to be hunkered there for a little while, I think.
And let's see what the move is going to be for ORV. So far, they actually are not really in a big threat. Well, except for Jampong. This guy is very far in front. And he's up against the Divine, a team that, you know, they're not shy to all of these engagements. In fact, you have Noob. He's going to be the one walking forward. 2 more grenades left in his inventory. They actually, ORV have Russ watching from the high ground. They have cover fire from Apnoy as well, but it seems like it is not really stopping Divine from making advancement. You know, they slow them down, but Divine still have the intention to push on forward. In fact, they are responding to Russ as we speak. So this is going to be a kind of a drawn-out standoff, considering that ORV have 1 less member compared to Divine.
Yeah, Jampong still out on the outside, but more importantly, Ruse is up on the platform, so he's going to be able to provide some cover and also watch out for any movements from Divine's side. So Jampong is still relatively safe thanks to the cover being provided by those little containers there just in front. But Divine, looks like K9 Pain is also getting themselves onto the platform as well. They're going to try to backdoor ORV here. Apnoy fighting for his life here as Pain brings the Pain onto him, but can't quite find his mark as the glue wall blocks them off from the rest. Now they're going to try to climb on top here. Apnoy brings up his healing. Ruiz is right now trying to secure his position here, but no, he gets knocked down. That's a good knockdown there from I think ORV Jampong. He's going to be taken down there right now as K9 Superman takes over the position right over here on the platform, bringing shots onto Divine here. Jampong caught the outside. He's going to be knocked down as well. He's going to be taken out completely. Superman has just made a kill.
Oh man, Divine ruining it for ORV. They were in such a good spot. I mean, Pain was not able to get the initial kill, but the moment Russ gets knocked by Divine, K9 went in for the pickup. And at the end of the day, the K9 is the one who got the last laugh, and not just that, they got control of the high ground, one of the best possible position that they can be in. They were like, ORV, you guys are doing it wrong. Let us show you how it's done. But first, we gotta get you off the building. So they pick up 2 kills for themselves. They set up shop right here, and Divine are getting ready to engage in another world of pain because K9 are relentlessly pelting them with bullets from afar.
Yeah, Shiraz Easy is still on the highest point there, and he's definitely the main target of K9's little scatter shot right over there. But they're still finding themselves in the same kind of problem that they had early on that ORV was facing, where there's basically a standoff between themselves and Divine. Now it's a standoff between K9 and Divine here. Neither team wanting to move out of their perch. Both of them well within the safety of the circle here, so there's no incentive for them to move out of the positions either. So pretty much the stalemate is going to hold on until the blue zone inevitably comes to engulf them all. So in the meantime though, we're still 10 minutes on. We're still having a lot of teams up on the table right now, and again, teams are just taking it very safe, not really going for those aggressive moves, except for the ones that they know can definitely take over. Warsick, they lost Tacular, so they're down to a 3-man group for now. And Orange Esports is up on the rocks there, so they're definitely being suppressed a little bit by the sniper fire. Orange Esports DCOS, in fact, has spotted EVC on the platforms there, and he's going to try to wrap around, and he's basically blocking off an entrance using the glue wall, so that pretty much prevents anyone from being able to backdoor them. So that's a very salient move here from DCOS. But nevertheless, Orange Esports, they are inside the circle already, so is AKO. Warsick is just moving in from the northern side, and it looks like they might actually run into EVC on the platforms there, but they're able to use the rocks for cover right now, and that's going to prevent EVC from being able to spot their movements. AKO, this is Ultraman. The Axel attempting to try to find an angle here onto Ono, but Ono's still able to hold their own. Orange Esports are going to get themselves encountered here by AKO Ultraman as well. But being held on beside the house means that X-Roy is going to have to find an entry point here, rounding outside. And Extras, Russ, he does have an 1886 though, so he's definitely waiting for someone to just walk right through that door. Unfortunately, the glue wall is going to prevent the entry. DCOS might have been spotted there or by the side, but he couldn't quite get a clear shot. Now X-Roy moves in with the pan. X-Ross, almost gets a shot with a shotgun, but the glue wall saves him just in the nick of time. X-Roy brings out his dual vectors. He's going to try to bring in a close quarter fire. X-Ross is going to have to wrap around the side there. Glue wall gets broken down. He goes to the shotgun. He gets knocked down on 1. Can he get the second one though?
No.
2 gets knocked down. 3 gets knocked down here for AKO. This is a disaster turning out for them. It's an attempt to use the glue wall to try to patch the rocks here, but no, X-Ray gets taken out of the game right now. Lemon IGL still trying to hang on, but the Axel, he's the only one standing. His health is very, very low, and only the glue wall separates him from certain death.
Oh, what a godlike glue wall from Orange. They put that glue wall right as Too Fast launched his grenade launcher, and it took him out. And guess what? Ono now shows up. A attempted grenade from Rosso. A good attempt. Didn't make any connection. But AKO Ultraman now needs to worry about the third party, which is Ono. In fact, look at all of these glue walls that has been built in this house. It felt like they went to an ice wonderland at this point. It's completely terraforming this structure. There's ORV Tyrants in the meantime getting eliminated by EVC, but right outside the main door is Rosso and Lemon IGL each getting 1 as Lemon confirms the kill. Goku now plays ring around the Rosie, and it's Jabat who close out that skirmish. Orange lose 2, get 4.
Oh, that was just such an unfortunate situation there, but Orange Esports literally made the most of it, even though they got caught around the outside there by Ultraman, but some quick thinking by Jabat was able to actually save them from that certain death, and now they're still in the running right now to try to get the Booyah. 7 teams still remaining. One of them is Legion Alpha here, and they have been watching the commotion going on with Orange Esports, who right now are being locked in a fight here with Bitter Lynx, and Bitter Lynx seems to be getting the upper hand compared to them. No quite a knockdown coming from Ono's side yet. The rest of his team is not quite here, but already Bitterlings is moving, clearing a path there for the rest of his team, who are right now up on the refinery platforms. Oh, actually, they've been up on the platforms this whole time, and right now Orange Esports are finding themselves suppressed from the high ground here, and that's impeding their progress getting any further through into the circle right now. That's a good shot there by Man Flying, taking out Kushgard from LGN, so they're already down by 1, but Manflang unfortunately will get caught out and taken down for his efforts here. Bitterlinks finally gets knocked down. They're completely surrounded by LGN. Jeb unfortunately jumps into a real massacre here right inside the container as LGN has already got themselves positioned in there, ready to kick them out. But watch out,
Divine
from behind,
here.
Divine is coming in. They want to backdoor this. Blue Wall is going to be able to keep them out of the way there, so LGN's still alive. Jeb is going to get finished off there just by the sideline. Divine, Mr. D, just trying to find a way to get through this entire mess of Blue Walls here, trying to find an angle in order to try to bring the fight there towards LGN. Mickey tries to take the high ground, but the Blue Wall didn't come out in time to prevent him getting knocked down, and he's going to get taken out of this game completely here. Now watching for the last member, oh no, LGN, oh, the last member, Seika, gets caught out with the 1887. He's going to be out for the count. 4-Bits gets caught out by Blank in the meantime, though, so another fight's happening between EVC as well as K9 while all of this is going down. Divine, though, they find him, Mark, they find a kill. Oh no, it's out for the count.
And the next one on the chopping block for Divine is going to be Orange Esports. They're all in the container, and when I say all, there's only 2 of them. As Divine just massacres everyone. They push right through, but they gotta break the glue wall. You're trapped. Blue Zone coming in. Newbie just barely squeezing through and getting some room to breathe and heal up, but they don't have time to gather resources because the next contender is going to be Warsick Philippines. 4 against 3 in favor of Divine as they continue to bulldoze through the competition. But Blank from downtown gets a double nade, and that is going to stop Divine in their tracks because K9 have not been forgotten. They will now swarm in and completely eviscerate Divine. Can Warsick stop them? Deja vu again. This is just like round 5, but the result feels like it is going to be just the same as round 5. A 1-for-1 trade so far. Warsick Invoker getting knocked down. Too slow. He's the last man alive. But K9 will overpower Warsick Philippines for the second time. And they close out the evening with another booyah.
Wow, it's yet again Blank nailing the MVP here for K9 and a booyah to boot here. The second booyah for K9 Esports back to back. I'm not sure if it's quite the double-digit kills that they were looking for, but that's certainly a double-digit haul when it comes to the placement points.
Yeah.
Oh boy, the reactions.
And K9 and Blank did not lie when he said that they overcame their nervousness. They were able to come together as a team. They didn't do it just once, they did it twice. And now the only thing to find out is if they actually got the double-digit kill that Blank promised. And then with the results shown, I'm inclined to believe that that is going to be the case. I think K9, what a fantastic ending. If there's anything that we can almost be certain, is that I think they most likely have either made it into top 3 or made it really close to top 3.
Yeah, but certainly they have surpassed the performance of Orange Esports, who are so unfortunate though, getting caught out inside the container at the worst possible moment. It also did look like they were in position to try to maybe get some placement points, but sadly it just wasn't meant to be. So K9 definitely taking the vast majority of the points in this final round here. I just really wonder how much is it, and is it enough to get themselves up there?
Yeah, I mean, we saw Divine going into overdrive. You know, they were just bulldozing. They bulldozed through Legion. They bulldozed to, I believe, ORV. They saw Orange and they were like, yeah, step aside, Divine coming through. And it all got ended with 1 nade from Blank. Of course, that was the guy that we interviewed prior to this match. Sick. He delivered on his part. His team also came through. And I just can't wait to have our lovely friends on the BM side, Ikuto and Haji, to talk to the K9 members again later on.
Yeah, I just really want to hear what he has to say after that, because he was definitely aiming for those double-digit kills if his grenade throws are anything to go by. But I also have to say that for most of it, we were really watching a lot of fights were happening for some of the other teams in the group there, and I feel that they really were just trying to maximize whatever points they could get. They knew it's the last round of the day. If they play it safe here, it's not going to work out well for them because they're going to miss out on so much opportunities. That's why you start to see like a real mess of chaos there going to the final couple of circles, and really just indicative of like how competitive, how fierce the competition is in this kind of series. So it's really fantastic to see that despite the fact that Free Fire being not being like one of the most highlighted games out here in Southeast Asia, you still have such great competitive spirit going on in the teams that are competing here in this Snapdragon Pro Series.
Absolutely. Of course, even though the game has ended, we gotta always remember that this would not have been possible without our partner that's always with us on this journey, Snapdragon Elite Gaming, when winning matters, and K9 Esports embodied that towards the tail end. An impressive ending to end up day number 1. And of course, we also have Monster Energy alongside us on this journey, allowing K9 Esports to once again unleash the beast. And check them out at www.monsterenergy.com/gaming. And of course, if you haven't joined our Discord yet, please join, because I'm in there, Victor Cax is in there, because everyone is in there ready for a conversation at discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series. Simply, if you want Free Fire, we have Free Fire there, but if you want to check out any other mobile esports, it is also in that Discord.
Yeah, and Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Snapdragon Pro Series has definitely been a really good platform in order to provide the opportunity for these guys to show their talents when it comes to these games here. So we're going to be having a look at the highlights so far from this game here, these games so far. And my goodness, I mean, just one thing that I really love about Free Fire is just how fast-paced a lot of the action is compared to other battle royales. I mean, the inclusion of glue walls, the fact that you have to maneuver so quickly, and the fact that fights can just change on a whim like that just based on your positioning is just fantastic to see.
Yeah, it just lives up to its name, right? Free Fire, right? Free for all. The battlefield is for the taking. There's no one kings, no one whatever, like Titan. And not only is the battle system, this fast-paced battle that makes it very interesting and high octane, it's also when we look at the point system, right? You can be at the top in one round and at the bottom of the depths the next, depending on how you perform, right? There's always a comeback potential. As long as the tournament has not ended, you can always make a comeback. That's what makes Free Fire so competitive, so intense. You just don't know what would happen next.
Yeah, indeed, and it really comes down to your own skills, really, to try to save yourself from a lot of the situations, and the communication, the tactics that you have to bring to the table. All that comes together, it coalesces to make some of the best teams here in the standings. So let's have a look right now. K9 Esports, of course, getting the double digits. Who knew they were going to be able to call that shot? But 12 place points, 12 kills. That's 24 points total for them on top. That puts them way, way ahead of everyone else, not least Orange Esports, who only managed 7 kills and only 7 placement points, so 14 points in total for them. Divine does take the third spot there with 12 points. Warsick PH takes 4th. AKO Ultraman did pretty well initially, but unfortunately couldn't quite make it to the end there, so it's only 3 placement points for them so far, but 6 kills still puts them in 5th place.
And Legion Alpha, a quick props to them, right? Even though, they didn't have the best round, but they were able to farm a couple of kills towards the end, right? Where they were camping in the containers, they caught some stragglers before they got taken out. But of course, we got to feature K9 Esports for the second time of this evening. Off of that last round, I can't think of a better team to take the spotlight. 12 kills, almost 5,100 damage in total. A lot of it was chip damage, but the confirmed kills was what mattered for K9 Esports. And now, the moment of truth, let's check out the overall standing. See where K9 Esports stand. Second place. No, WNS, who's next? Kalahari Philippines still in first with 59 points, but K9 Esports have caught up in second place, 56, 3 points behind WNS, and hard to gets booted down to third place with 54 points.
Oh, what did I say? I mean, one thing I got to say though, for Orange Esports, just how heartbreaking it is. Only 4 points, to tie it up. It's hard to get. If they could have just gotten 4 extra kills in that round, that could have been a guaranteed third place. But sadly, it just wasn't meant to be. But do have to shout them out though, because it's a very competitive midfield, from third place on downwards. And Orange Esports has definitely proved themselves to be the best of the rest here, putting themselves ahead of Anxiety, ahead of GM Remy, who remember was also pretty aggressive when it came came to their specific group. Divine, they did their absolute best when it came to this final round, but unfortunately it was only enough to put them in 7th place, tying themselves in points with Warsick Philippines. EVA are going to continue on here in 9th place right now, even though it's only 36 points, but I think these points don't really do justice to really express how much effort these teams have really made in order to get themselves this far.
Yeah, and of course we are starting to see this hierarchy of which team are consistent, which team are aggressive. Despite K9 Esports' explosive performance towards the end of the evening, we still cannot deny the fact that WNS, though not the best in terms of surviving, definitely the best in terms of hunting down the prey. Still at the top of the kill board, but we'll see if that is going to remain the same as this week progresses. This open finals has 4 days. This is just day 1. We might see a change tomorrow. Maybe Divine will pop up. Maybe, EVA Continue will get a better evening, but those are all just, a question mark for now. But let these teams savor their moment. I mean, if you're K9, you're happy, 2 booyahs. If you are hard to get, you're happy as well with 3 booyahs. But enough of us. We gotta have our buddies on the BM side, Ikuto and Hajia, take away the interview with K9.
For you guys. So, what do you guys feel?
We are very happy that we gained points in the first day of the tournament.
I see.
Alright, so Ikuto menanyakan apa perasaan anda, apa perasaan Blank setelah dapatkan 2 kali booyah. So Blank kata dia sangat happy untuk dapatkan point apa yang mereka dapatkan pada hari ini.
So Blank, 2 bad game, 2 good game, and 2 good game is enough to put you guys at 2nd place. Do you guys think that you guys going to continue this total beat down, or you guys going to slow it down to give chance to other teams?
We will try our best to continue the what's happening right now, so we will win this tournament.
Okay, Ikuto tanya 2 persembahan yang kurang baik, 2 persembahan dapatkan booyah kan untuk pasukan K9 pada hari yang pertama ini. So ada soalannya, adakah apa tadi lupa dah.
Adakah nak bagi chance
adakah nak bagi peluang dekat pasukan lain selepas ni, ataupun nak teruskan konsisten ataupun permainan yang baik, 2 game yang baik ni sampai habis sepanjang liga ni. Dan Blank kata dia cuba untuk melakukan perkara tu kan. Dia cuba untuk meneruskan dan menang tournament ni.
So Blank, 2 games, 2 double digit kills and 2 booyah. And I just want to ask you, everyone in your team, they take their phone and show their girlfriend face. You don't have any girlfriend or something?
No, I have girlfriend, of course. I'm not single.
Oh, you're not single lah.
No worries, I'm also single, so we are the same team, okay? We are same team. Alright, so
I'm not
okay.
on your team.
So,
he's not single.
He's
He's
not
got
single.
girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the important question that I want to ask you is that, do you guys think that you guys will how many booyah that you guys will get in total for tomorrow?
We will try to get 4 booyahs tomorrow. And we won't give chance to others.
Okay. So Ikuto tanya berapakah booyah yang mereka nakkan pada hari esok. So Blank kata 4. So dia nak tapak semua booyah untuk hari esok. So kita akan lihat apa yang akan berlaku pada esok.
Okay. My last questions that I want to ask you, is there anything that you want to say to other teams and also maybe to your fans?
All I want to say is good luck to everyone that have a chance to play in this tournament. Yeah, we all deserve it, guys.
Oh, very
That's
humble.
Very humble.
Nice. This guy no drama, very humble.
So Ikuto tanya apakah yang nak disampaikan oleh Blank kepada pasukan-pasukan lain. So dia kata semoga berjaya. So kita semua layak berada dalam tournament ni. So good luck macam tu lah. So
alright.
Dia sangat humble dan sangat baik.
Alright, can I Blank, thank you so much for today.
Thank you very much again to Ikuto and Haji. First takeaway is Blank is taken. He's just a bit more humble. He's not He's not showing his partner on broadcast. Not that it matters too much, because what matters is that he's off the market, ladies. And second of all, they made a declaration. Well, he made a declaration on behalf of his team that tomorrow they will swipe all the booyahs away in all 4 matches that they will play. Do you think that's possible?
Oh, of course, it might be possible given that they've really awakened in this second half of their performance here. But I mean, it's a bit concerning, I guess, in the initial point that they weren't able to find that footing in the first couple of games. But given that they've really found the confidence in this last 2 games there, I'm pretty sure that that might be a possibility. But again, given that same question to myself, of course I'm gonna go for all booyahs for all of grounds. I mean, are you kidding me? Just go for the maximum.
Yeah, I like how after he said, you know what, we will take all the booyahs, and then his next his final answer, well, his takeaway message to all of us is that good luck everyone, we all deserve to be here.
You see, you have to be like sharp as a killer, but you have to kill them with kindness.
I feel like I've seen that. Oh wait, there's no song called Killing with Kindness, but there's one song called Killing Me Softly. I think that's how it is. He's a classical man. I absolutely love it. But we do have some more highlights for you guys, so we're gonna check them out. For day number 1, it's been an exciting day. It's been an amazing day, and I just want to say the highlights is basically us being here and witnessing all of those games. We're gonna sign up for the day. It's been an insane day number 1, but this open finals for the Snapdragon Pro Series Free Fire still has 3 more days to go. We will see who comes out on top by the end of this marathon. My name is Husky. Here's Victor Cax. On behalf of everyone at the studio, we wish you guys a good night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what it's meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm under.
Won't stop going till a player on top know it. Rooftop pit, how sweet. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fight through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not friends, we are opponents. Yeah, I'm coming for mine. Yeah, I'm making a play, the game on the line. Yeah, I've been on the grind. Yeah, I jump in the spot, I made it my time. Yeah, look in the sky. Yeah, the stars align, no shade to shine. Can't stop it already, emotional work and devotion. We put in this time, look. You won't stop. Scenario, win, 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 yeah, we on a roll. Yeah, 2, 4, 6, we like 10 and 0. I should probably tell them something that they didn't know. Back then we was down with nowhere to go. Shit, might have been down, but we didn't fall. Now we running it like some intervals. Ooh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who? Us now. What you gonna do when we pull up on you? Like, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when I come through you. Ooh, shut down. Shut down. Say, oh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who? Us now. What you gonna do when we pull up on you? Like,